hello everyone at Pantsless tables. Welcome to the Onrush, uh, a little campaign made by me, set in my own world known as Trensea, and I am now bringing one piece of that story from this old world with a checkered past to all of you and the lovely players at the table here. I am Tanfighter or Tan. Uh, I will be your dungeon master for the campaign, and you can find me on like Twitter, Instagram, whatnot at Tanfighter117. I mostly do TTRPG stuff, or I like doing voices and stuff, which will most certainly annoy some of the people here at the very least. So that'll be fun. And yes, that's me. Joining me though is, of course, Steve and all of the other lovely, lovely players here who can introduce themselves far better than I can. So yeah, Steve.
Oh, shit. Hi, I'm Steve. Put on the spot here, even though this is my stream. But yeah, this is Pantsless Table's first miniseries ever. Of yeah. Really excited to be able to be a part of this with exploring Tan's world. I've heard a lot about stuff, so I was like, fuck it, we have to bring this to Pantsless Tables. Yeah. We've got a really cool cast here. Everyone's really amazing. I've had the chance to play with a couple of people, but not with everyone. So this is going to be really great. We're also fundraising for TCRF, which is there's a bunch of donations linked to incentives, which I will share in a minute. And yeah, that's me. I think we can just go alphabetically now. Yeah.
Okay, now we do the alphabet.
Oh god, what's the alphabet?
My mind's also going to player character names.
Would it be no? It wouldn't be like wait.
No,
I mean-
I think I'm first.
Yeah, because I'm thinking
I think you
there's
are.
also Anna, and then there's okay.
Yeah, that's
Very
fine. I'll
confusing.
just go.
We've got
Yeah,
this.
no.
We got this.
Hi, I'm Anna or Riley, whichever one you prefer. I use it in pronouns, and today and for the rest of this campaign, I'll be playing Krai Averni, who is a cleric, a Kenku cleric, and I'm gonna be trying to keep everyone alive. That's my whole goal. And that's
We'll see how
it.
that goes.
You'll see how that goes.
Then next, I believe, would be Assis.
Okay, yeah, probably be. Hi, I'm Assis. She, her. I am playing Tabashi artificer called Sparkling Water, and I am very scared of Tan's DMing. I have heard about it for years. I'm scared.
Nothing to be scared of as long as you don't die.
I think I prefer you as a co-player.
I will remember this. And next up, I believe we have Hector.
Hi. My name is Hector. My pronouns are he, they. I'm going to be playing Aiden, Up Naradin, who's a scion of House Naradin, a high elf.
That is correct. Next,
Oh,
I
a bard of the College of Eloquence, by the way.
And I believe alphabets have taught me that Mike is next.
Hi, I'm Mike, he, him. Today I will be playing Runter the Litter, a bugbear rogue who is, let's say, a little sort of protector of the street kids out there, and leader of a somewhat Robin Hood-esque gang who steal from the rich and give to the poor, including himself.
But at what point is he no longer poor then? And last but not least, rice cakes.
Hello, I'm Rice Cakes or Rice. And today I'm going to be playing Muriel, which is or more like Muriel Mohradilon, which is a very hard name that I came up with totally by myself. Um, I'm going to be playing the Dragonborn Sorcerer Warlock, or as I like to call her, the Trickster Nun.
Indeed. And all of these lovely players will be in, well, starting this leg of their journey. They're already established in their own rights in their own different fields, but there has recently been in the year of 780 AC. Do not ask me what AC is, that is a thing. Anyway, in the year 780, they have found themselves catching news and rumors around the kingdom of Emerald City, which is the capital of the High Elves, that strange sightings have been reported along the coastlines, along the port towns nearby, from the north, of strange creatures lurking beneath, and some even making their way to shore, people going missing. Some people are getting worried and suspicious, while others think it's nothing too concerning. Monsters appear, people take care of them, that's why we have armies. And what finally seals things in is a very open call to arms from the Holy Arcane Empire, which is allied with Emerald City, calls out volunteers looking for anyone and everyone who can help either uncover or, at the very least, put a stop to the situation that is clearly a growing threat. And while this threat is increasing, so is the threat on the lives of all of the people living within Emerald City. And the entire city is in a bit of an uproar with people arming up, getting ready to defend the city, whoever can at the very least, while many people are planning a grand exodus of sorts, just moving further south from Emerald City, looking to find uh, safety in the city of Dainsbridge, all the way in the middle of the mainland, which is the home of the dwarves. Some people just moving kind of close by to smaller settlements like Lavinia and whatnot. But all in all, people are moving. The city is in a bit of a high strung panic, but order has not fallen all the way yet. Some of the naval forces have also come in to assist all of you in this endeavor. And our story picks up right from there, where it is early in the day, probably an hour before noon or so, and all of you, for whatever different reasons, you have come here looking for answering this call to arms. You are summoned to the northern front of the walls, where they've basically created clearings with encampments and wartime preparations. That's where all of the recruits are being called in to be briefed on the situation. Now, you aren't just any odd recruits like many other people who might have taken arms. Some of you have a bit of a name, perhaps that is why you were even reached out to. Other people perhaps were already here when things started to get rough. And all of you begin to kind of enter into Emerald City, or who are already there start making your way to the North Wall. And we will start with uh, Eden. We zoom in on the magnificent Emerald Citadel in the middle of the city, where the ruling family of Naradan live, where you see many of the other noble houses of the elven families reside in. And the High Overseer, Almaris Naradan, has been very busy with meetings and preparations, talking to the other leaders of other kingdoms and whatnot, and with his own army. And as such, the High Overseer, your father, has been quite um, indisposed at the moment. And you usually have been more of a man of the people. You've been someone who has tried to make sure through all of this panic, the people at the very least, your charges are safe, are being properly taken care of. And
Hmm.
you haven't really had a time to talk to your dad about this or any of it, really. And
Hmm.
when this call to arms has started to happen, you've also gotten this message that if you are looking to help the people, perhaps you could help them a little more directly than from your Emerald Palace.
Mm.
So, in the morning of your day, as you've gotten this news and you've kind of gotten started, what is it that Aiden would be doing?
I think that Aiden has looked at the letters from some of the local like merchants, guilds, and artisans that are calling for more direct help. Puts it away in his purse, hanging from his side. May I describe my character, Tan?
Of course.
Okay, so Aiden is a high elf, um, but of an unusual stature. He is about 6'6", V-shaped torso. Um, Here I wrote down a captivating. He stands at an impressive height, towering over all the other elves around him, standing at 6'6". He has an athletic physique with a V-shaped torso that is barely contained by his tunic. Aiden is dressed immaculately. Um, he has a look of concern on his face. His sage green linen under tunic stretches across his broad chest and shoulders. He has a beautiful dusky rose over tunic. That's a riding tunic, which means it's slit on the side so he can ride horses.
Mhm.
Um, and it is trimmed with a deep, intense crimson trim that
Oh.
just kind of just is like really a, a deep, deep red. And red is the theme for the rest of his outfit. He has overrobes that are embroidered with silver and belted with a silk like sash.
Mhm.
He has what's traditionally called roos pants, which are big baggy pants that have a short, tight cone below the knee. And it's wrapped with these very soft, hand woven wool leg wraps uh, that are pristine, like a pristine white, almost gray. And soft leather, handcrafted leather turn shoes that have been colored a similar soft red to match the tunic. Um, at He has this beautiful belt that looks like it's made of like gold and uh, dyed red leather and various like amber jewels, and it almost looks like there's an inner fire to all of the polished amber jewels that are embossed into the belt, and has a staff that has like a polished uh, ruby. It's oak an oak staff inlaid with silver, and it has a polished sapphire on it. So it's like the blue is contrasting with the red of his
Mhm.
outfit. And it has all these like lovely like filigree of like leaves and blossoms just sort of carved into it. But it's a very sturdy staff, and it appears to be made of like oak and but it like when he walks with it, it just sort of like boom hits the ground as if it were shod with some kind of iron or hard metal. Um, at this point, he has it hooked to his back,
Mhm.
and he's going straight towards the throne room to speak
Mhm.
with his father.
You gear up for, your day essentially, and you start heading up the stairs towards the main hall.
Mhm.
Uh, However, much like how it has been for the past few days, you see two of your father's guards, fully plated up high elves,
Mhm.
like wielding glaives on their like opposite arms. They just see you come up and just kind of shake their head at you, and one of them, she just like looks at you and goes, "You know, we can't let you in right now, Aiden."
Uh, I take the staff on my back, which is a symbol of my authority within the house, and I set it down and look at them meaningfully, and I say, "Is that a direct order from my father, or
Yes.
is?" Then I cannot, in good conscience, ask you to uh, violate such an order. I order you both to turn around and look at the wall.
Roll me a persuasion check.
23.
23. Yeah. You see, she like looks at you and kind of sighs, and the guy next to her kind of just groans, shrugs his shoulders, and just turns around. And
Mhm.
she also like sees that happen. She also starts to turn around and just says, "If we are asked, you forced yourself in."
I'm going to like wait, and in that minute, I am just going to very quietly enter.
Roll me a stealth check. Within 5 minutes, Satan has found a way to get in trouble.
24.
24 on stealth. Yeah,
Mhm.
the door, like, it's a heavy, large door,
I
but
figured it was like, yeah, I
yeah,
was just,
you
yeah.
slowly, as quietly as you can, like, creak it open just enough to kind of slip into the room.
Mhm.
And as you do so, firstly, obviously, you see the main hall, which is just lined from one end to the other with pillars bearing the banners of all of the different noble houses
Mhm.
that exist within Emerald City. You see at the far end there is a big, like slightly stained glass window from floor to
Mhm.
ceiling overlooking the city and the port. And on either ends of the walls there are different depictions and like murals and tapestries just drawn across of the founding and building of this city and all the
Mhm.
fancy accolades of like the house Naradin that has come with it.
Mhm.
And the middle of the room though is quite different from what you're used to. Usually there's just long tables and seating here and like one high
Mhm.
chair.
Mhm.
uh, all of it, besides the high chair, has kind of just been like removed. There is a big square table in the center of the room with maps and all kinds of different documents strewn about. You
Mhm.
see your father standing there. He's not as tall as you, but he is quite tall himself.
Mhm.
And what is rare for an elf is age on their face, which you do see on him. He is a older elf, like not very old, but you do see some
Mhm.
traces on his face. Long, flowing, black hair that's tipped out with like slight hints of red and green,
Mhm.
and wearing very fine ornate robes that are not fully like well kept right now. It seems he hasn't really gotten a change of clothes in the last few days even.
Mhm.
And you see his left hand adorned with all the different magical rings that you know he possesses,
Mhm.
and his trusty longsword is also at his hilt at his side. uh he seems to be just leaned over the stable with what you would know are some of the commanding officers of the Elven army, as well as a
Mhm.
few people you don't recognize, but they are wearing these blue and white tassels over their shoulders, and you know that that means that they are part of the navy of the Empire.
Mhm.
And they are very much in some heated discussion where your father is looking very grimly at the Imperial troops and saying, "As I have told you, our city and its walls have been holding whatever this news is is beyond the borders of our city. This power is not to be contained simply by our armies. Whatever is in those waters has already sunk many of our longboats. I had requested the Empire send more forces to aid in finding the source of this problem and dealing with it before it escapes our borders. And in return for my very reasonable request, you have sent a handful of ships and barely a battalion of soldiers, along with that foolish lieutenant. Do you really think this is enough aid to be provided to a kingdom that has aided the Empire whenever it has asked for it? And you see one of the individuals here, the imperial looking individuals, he seems human. Slightly older looking guy, very broad shouldered and like has a slight hunch, and a long salt and pepper like scraggly beard, uh, and very just like palish skin. Like he's dressed like a sailor, but he does not look like he gets a lot of sun. And he just looks over at the overseer and just goes, "As I have stated multiple times, High Overseer Naradin, the Empire has sent the forces that were ready to be dispatched immediately. More are on the way, but they will take time to reach. As far as who has been sent here, I assure you, Lieutenant Gore is perhaps the most capable man for this job. Yes, I admit he can seem odd, but that has nothing to say of his accolades in past struggles and conflicts, and the battalion of troops he has brought with him are the troops directly trained by him, and I assure you there is no finer force than that in the Navy right now. Me and a few other of the commanders are also here to take charge of your forces. Yes?
I hold my staff, I put it down, and right before he goes to the next paragraph, I cast Zone of Truth directly on him.
All right. Charisma save, right?
Yeah, 17.
Uh, all right. So, firstly, as you cast the spell, immediately people know you're here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I step
Uh,
forward very dramatically and put the staff down and cast Zone of Truth, and I say, "You will speak only truth in the presence of the High Seer." Boom.
you cast the spell, and you know the spell worked. He is under the effects of the zone of truth, and he kind of everyone like stops, looks towards you, including your father, who looks surprised, but also like a little, very much giving you an eye of the hell do you think you're doing? Like
Yeah,
just giving you that eye,
yeah.
and the person who was talking, he kind of like turns over to you, looks at like his hand, looks back at you, and very clearly says, "I believe Lieutenant Gore is the most capable man for this job, and the battalion that works under him are the most capable of soldiers that he could find. Does that satisfy your doubt?"
It clarifies that you're either being truthful or a fool, as my father has already declared that this person is incompetent. So you must be mistaken.
Your father has many great qualities. Judging those who exist out of this kingdom is not one of them.
I narrow my eyes.
You see, he's very much like he knows for a fact he's under the effects of a zone of truth, and he's very confidently saying all of this, like very matter
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah,
factly, even. And
yeah.
you see, like this kind of like stare down starts happening, like the room gets like the tension just makes the entire room go silent for a moment. And your father just very simply strikes the table once with his open hand, looks up. I believe we all have more pressing matters to take care of right now. Now, to our guests here, this here is my son, Hayden. Forgive his brash outburst, but his concerns are the same ones I hold. And his brash act has made it clear that you do not possess the same concerns. And as Aiden has proved that he cannot keep to his own chambers for even a single morning, would you like to do a job for me?
Absolutely, Father. Name it, and I will do it to the best of my ability.
Well, you clearly wish to assist in this matter, and you clearly wish to assist me in this matter, and in that case, I will have you ascertain the quality of this Lieutenant Gore, as well as the soldiers under his command, and by doing so, we can maybe have a better grasp at this threat, if there is one as serious as one the Navy wants us to believe.
Yes, Father, absolutely. I bow very, very deeply and with an immense amount of respect. I also bow to the people that are there, the emissaries, with a little bit less, but with
Hmm.
respect.
Yeah.
And then, Father, may I be dismissed to begin my mission?
Keep me appraised of your situation, but yes.
Yes, Father. And then I bow incredibly deeply and respectfully and walk out of there like I own the place.
Yeah. You start strutting your way out of the room, and you pass by the two guards who, they just like look at you and just shake their head, like very much are they used to this, but also they feel like they don't get paid enough for this shit.
I leave them both like like a coin of favor, uh,
All right.
for a small favor from me in the future. It's just
Sure.
like a little like clay stamped coin. It has my seal on it, and it's generally known by any of the palace servants that if you've done
Yeah,
a great service for me, I will do one for you and your family. And I give them the two little clay tablets and
for
continue on
sure.
with my day.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go straight to the other PCs because I feel like
Uh-huh.
whatever other PCs would like to volunteer are people I adventured with in the past to help me deal with this issue. And I
Yeah,
would like to cede the spotlight to the rest of the table as Aiden goes to gather whichever person wants to volunteer to have been Aiden's
for
dramatic
sure.
friend on shenanigans.
And I will also say for actually finding a way to get to your dad and getting intel out of that, take inspiration. I was straight up expecting you to not try to go to the throne room, so that surprised me. uh, but yeah, uh, and
That's what I
you
built
kind
my
of,
character for.
for sure, you start heading your way down the citadel and out into the palatial grounds where first for like the first like 100 feet a platoon of guards is very conspicuously following behind you, making sure like everything's okay, but then you see one of them like runs up and gets news that, oh, he's on a job, okay, fine. And then like they're kind of just cautiously looking at like the young lord leaving and hoping he doesn't die out there. And you head on your way, and as you do, uh, we draw our attention further south from the center of the city to the ravine of Emerald Valley, which is the valley in which the city kind of exists, like between these two emerald peaks. And within that is the enormous gateway of Emerald City, the only official path in from the south. And there is a lot of commotion here. You see carts and carts of people trying to leave the city, causing essentially a traffic jam. You see, at the same time, people moving their way into the city, still causing a bit of a traffic jam, but not as much as it seems going in is not as tough at the moment. And in this traffic jam of people, we zoom in on Cry.
Yes.
Uh, you have, well, you have been trying to make your way into the city, essentially. And after what has been a few hours since dawn of you standing in this line, you have made it through the threshold of the gate. And just when you think you're entering like the city, you are immediately stopped by what looks like a checkpoint of sorts. And some of these guards just look over at you, look you up and down, and one of them just in common asks you, odd time to be visiting the Emerald City, wouldn't you say?
Wasn't there a request for people to come to the city? Like for
Ah,
money?
yes, you are here for the posters got you here, I take
Yes.
it.
Yes, I saw the posters. Yes.
Great. And just to make sure, not, well, to make sure people who should be reading the posters were the ones who are coming here, may we have your name and perhaps where you come from?
Yes. Cry, Averny, the woods.
And you see, like, they kind of just like a couple of the guys look at each other, look back at you, and they just ask, the woods. You from
Yes.
a nearby settlement, perhaps?
No, the woods. The like trees, like lots of trees and like bushes. You know.
Right, and for living in the trees, as you say, where exactly did you see these posters?
Oh, I've been walking for a while now. I came through a village, and there was posters on a wall, and I saw the poster, and it said "Go to Emerald City," so I'm here.
Right. Roll me a flat charisma check.
Oh God. My charisma. That is a whole ass 10.
All right. Uh, you kind of just like, very matter of factly say all of this, and there isn't any lie in your words. So they kind of just like
No.
look you over and they just go, hmm, well, in which case, you are free to enter. Just know that, given the state of the city, we expect you to go report to one of the commanding tents. And he kind of like points all the way across the city, and you see like this big ass wall to the north. And he just points there and he says, that is where all of the people who read the posters are going. I would advise you to do the same and keep out of trouble and perhaps don't disturb the peace too much.
Okay. And he reaches into his pocket and pulls out an acorn and hands it to him. Here you go. And just walks in.
Just,
And I'll I'll describe him quickly. So Kai is a kenku, has black
yes.
feathers. Very typical kenku, like 5 foot tall, wears like a very simple shirt with like little black, like little patchwork things or where there's been holes. Some of them look like they've not been covering holes, just for funsies, just colorful patches. Whereas like these green sort of yoga pants ish that sort of end like where the little, the knees would be, also with
Hmm.
patches, and then like a black kind of like long cardigan with like a hood, and has like a necklace that's just like acorns and pine cones and stuff like that. And yeah, just walks
Amazing.
in. Yeah,
You,
walks
you
into the city, looks
the
around like
second
in
you start
awe.
walking in, you hear like the guard you handed the acorn to kind of like just like shrugs his shoulders, looks at one of the other guards, and kind of just whispers, "Druids," and like he just keeps on.
Fair enough. Yeah. And yeah, and go. I guess like I've never been to a place this big, so I just sort of like
It's
look around and go, oh,
enormous. This
yeah.
is one of the largest like urban settlements that you've ever seen, or that even exist on like the mainland. And
Yeah.
large buildings, some of them carved out of like stone and wood, others even inlaid with bits of gem and emerald and ivory. And you see these just lining up left, right, and center, different districts marked out with buildings bigger than many of the trees you've seen. And in the center of all of this, as like the buildings keep getting bigger and bigger, you see this large citadel of emerald made out of pure emerald that reaches all the way up and up. For what you can see, it feels like it's touching the clouds from where you are. And you keep on walking. And again, second thing is, you've never seen this many people just
No, and just
quietly running around. And here, people are very much focused on getting out of town and stuff like that. Everyone is very much to the point business. So no one's even paying mind to like this like tiny Kenku kind of going against the current of like the people.
they just sort of wave at everyone going past.
uh I'm gonna need what would this be? I'm gonna need a wisdom save to see if you don't get overwhelmed
What?
by all the people.
Fair enough. A wisdom save. Okay. That is a 17.
Okay. You kind of like, feel your shoulders kind of tense up every now and then if someone like, brushes past your shoulder or like bumps into you or like a wagon goes past you really quickly. You kind of like, get a little trepidation in your like breathing and then immediately like, oh, people are just eh, busy people, I guess, and you just kind of calm yourself down and keep
Yeah.
moving.
Taking in
And
the sights.
yeah, you're taking in the sights, you're moving your way through. You run across like things you don't even know what they are. Like you know how to like read common and stuff. So like you read like a
Yeah.
place says cafe, and you're like, what the hell is that? And like you keep walking your way past that because you don't know
There's
what it
like
is.
I see like I imagine like there's maybe there's some shop of like selling like has like cars like fruits out, and they just take one and keep walking because
And you
they
give a
don't
little
know that you're
soft
supposed to
play.
pay for these things. And just start eating the apple.
Okay, because of the chaos around you, they don't notice you picking the apple up. You don't learn that lesson, but you just grab an apple while someone's just like
Get
hauling
them.
a cart of apples through, and you just keep on walking. And you start making your way through the city, and eventually, like the buildings start to kind of taper and clear out, and like there's a bit of a clearing of what was like probably parks and other like staging grounds and stuff like that that have kind of been refurbished into war camps. There are just tents and tents of people set up here, new people coming in, arming up, getting ready and stuff. And like there are like, rudimentary like wooden barricades and spiky like columns kind of just like impaled into the ground around here. And as you're kind of like, taking that in, one this one tiefling kind of wearing this imperial uniform kind of like looks you over. You're a volunteer
Yes.
there, and like he just points to one of like these like regiments of people kind of getting ready. He just points you towards that one essentially, and just like indicates for you to go there. And as he does so, at the same time, you turn like the corner, and you immediately bump into someone who was going in the same direction. And Sparkling, you can introduce yourself.
Okay. So you see Sparkling Water. She's a pretty tall, like Tabashi, like 6 feet, I'd say, like quite tall. Um, and her fur is okay. I don't know how to describe this beyond like British, like a British short hair, like like that dark, deep gray, bluish fur. Um, like just that even pattern, deep gray, bluish fur. Except it's not even because it's singed like in various places, like just all over. And she's wearing like just very workman clothes and leather armor, also with like just like soot and singe in various places. Um, and like these goggles up on her head, probably also covered in soot. And behind her is this little like construct, which is kind of just closed down, just rolling around behind her. So imagine like a Dalek, but you remove the top part and just remove it like the top part of a cat's head with like just the ears, and there's like just a flame slightly coming out from between the top part and the bottom part.
Wow, I think
You
Kai
have
should have.
never seen a person like
No,
this.
no,
I'm
this
sorry.
is
Did
a
you
look
say
at like.
Dalek?
Yeah, it's just like the base of a Dalek. You remove the top part with the guns and put like a cat, like the top of a cat's head, and fire in the middle.
Okay, okay.
I don't know how to explain this.
Amazing. Yeah, the
A
guy just
trash
even
can
looks
with
at him like,
cat
oh,
headphones.
with cat headphones. Amazing. Yeah, they look at it like, whoa. It doesn't say, just you see them just staring, like
Uh,
trying to figure out like how it works.
I'll just be like, oh, don't mind the construct. It's not gonna do anything to you. And I'm just gonna
Oh,
like
I didn't think it was gonna do anything. What is it?
it's a construct.
What what
I've
is a
made it.
construct?
It
You
okay. So construction when you like make things, and I like just take out my hammer and I'm just like,
like crafting,
yes. But I crafted
right?
it. It's I wouldn't say it's alive. Um, but yeah, I crafted it and it works for me.
It,
It's my little buddy.
like friend. It's a friend. It's oh, and just the
Yes.
waves. Hi. What's his name? What's your name?
It just looks at you with like these flaming, glowing eyes and just like turns its head around a couple times.
Oh, this by the way, Tan, just for your information, this is the awareness vanguard.
Yeah, no, I figured. But yeah, it just kind of looks at you blankly, doesn't say anything back.
Okay. Do I sign up here? Do
Would I
you?
know? I should know,
Uh,
right? I do
so
live here.
both of you were just pointed to going towards one of the tents here, essentially, in front of like the battalion. Then that you were told that's where you sign up. Both of you got pointed in the same direction at the same time, so you bumped into each other on the
Okay,
way there.
I think so. I they told me to sign up here. We might as well check it out.
Okay. And just starts walking towards the
Yeah,
tent or place where they were told to go.
yeah. You start walking over there, and as you two walk there, we once more pull away and we zoom in on that little cafe that Cry just walked past. Uh, the busy pavement in front of it with all the different carts and people moving around, yelling at each other in this little traffic jam. We zoom in on Runt.
Okay, so Runt is sat outside a obviously closed cafe. feet up on a table, leaning back in his chair, drinking a cup of tea that no one knows how he got. Kind of looks to his left and his second in command of the street gang, Drake's there. And he goes, "This is the problem with wars. Everyone wants an army to fight. Everyone wants an army to protect the city. Who protects the people?" And he kind of spots a Kenku walk past, steal an apple out of a cart. Interesting. You know the rules. 10% from the rich only, given to the poor. And he reaches down to his side, picks up one of the recruitment posters, and goes, "I've got to be somewhere." Throws it behind him, and walks off following the Kenku.
And you see a second command kind of just looks over and just goes, "What do you want me to do?"
"Keep the city working. What we always do."
"What if the city's empty?"
"Then it should be easy to get in places."
And he kind of just gives you like a finger gun and like a wink, and also starts to like get up, and you see he picks up like your little like cup of tea you left, like it wasn't fully done. He like takes a swig from it and he starts going into the street. And yeah.
So Runt makes his way towards the tent. Now Runt is 6'2", relatively small for a bugbear, quite slight and lithe. Is wearing some very nice looking studded leather armor, has a very ornate crossbow slung across his back, and his cloak seems to shift in color as he moves past kind of different scenarios. Against the white alabaster, it has a white sheen to it, and the cobbled streets, it turns a dull grey. Clearly, the items he's carrying and the clothes he's wearing are certainly not items he could have afforded to buy, given the general demeanor of him. But nonetheless, he makes his way to enlist.
Yeah, you kind of start trailing behind the Skanku, like a few people behind, but you're kind of like trailing, going the same way. Going through the amount of this city that you're quite familiar with the people here and stuff like that, especially the people like running all these stalls and stuff like during this panic even. And you see like a couple of them kind of like recognizing you, kind of give you just like a curt nod, and you wander your way for about like half an hour, like while following around one like kind of junction point. As you're crossing by, one of the stagecoaches that's going by you kind of like regards you, like the guy driving it, uh, and he passes you a chit and keeps driving.
Okay.
uh, do you look at said shit?
Absolutely. I will just hunker into the shadows for a second and
Yeah,
have a read.
you kind of like just look over. It's not like a big message or anything. There's just like tiny little like slip of paper with just one line written on it. Word is Huxley's got lads in town, and you can give me a history check for that.
Not too bad. An 18.
An 18. Da, 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 da. Okay. Given your field, that name rings a bell, and it immediately gives you a hint of like just paranoia at the back of your head, because Huxley, while it is a name you've heard a few times, someone saying it like the way they just told you can only mean one person, and that is this person who, let's say, is in the same field of work as you were, uh, but not in Emerald City. This is someone from the city of the kingdom of Ibrakal, which is the city of the Asima. And you know that this is someone by the name of Dagon Huxley. You have not ever met this person before, but from what you've heard, like he has been around for a bit and has been running quite the operation down south, uh, to the point where most of the Southern Ocean's maritime affairs across the Sunborn Sea and everything come under him. Uh, Ibrakal also is one of the wealthiest cities in the world. For him to be operating from there, like the kind of like level he's playing at.
Yeah.
Like you guys are like a well-known group yourself, but you know for a fact that whatever syndicate he has stretches far wider than yours across the mainland and beyond at that point. Though you haven't really heard of him operating too much in Emerald City. Every now and then, sure, you hear someone did a run around here, but nothing specific. The message saying that he's got people around here, that's concerning. In this panicked state, the fuck is he doing this far north?
Yes. Ever the
So
opportunist, I'm sure.
that's what you heard. And yeah, you can I'm assuming tear up the note and keep
Yeah,
moving.
he probably just eats it, but I mean,
Yeah, you just eat the note and you keep moving, and you make your way towards enlistment as well. And
perfect.
then da, 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 we got away to the religious district at one of the temples of the martyr. Muriel, would you like to describe yourself?
Um, yes. Wait, because I was doodling my character while this was happening. Because yeah. So Muriel is like this black dragon. She has the usual like nun veil that pulled back between her horns and everything. Wearing half the normal like more dull colored attire, a little bit of armor just in case of anything, carrying it around. She has some sickles that are like half hidden in her pockets, sort of thing, like towards her belt. Why she keeps them around, nobody knows, and people have learned not to question her anymore. Uh, and yeah, she's just living her best life.
Yeah, it's been a very busy life the last couple of days, actually, because
Oh no.
Ilmater specifically is a god of selflessness, martyrdom, sacrifice, and helping those in need wherever you can. And
Yes.
his temple and shrine for the last few days has been packed with people. People coming in and out, just praying, hoping for safety for themselves and their loved ones. And at the same time, because of what your tenets and everything are, you and every other priest and clergy person here is going around spreading resources and sharing whatever the temple has to offer with everyone here. And for those who were kind of just, traveling through Emerald City when all of the shit hit the fan and everyone's just kind of stuck trying to get out, even providing them with refuge and bedding and all of that stuff. And while that's happening, you've had, you've been doing the best you can. Like you're helping where you can. You're taking breaks when no one's looking. It's how it is. But
Yeah.
that's been happening for a bit. You've seen these recruitment posters going around as well, obviously. Uh, and considering, like, what Muriel would do regarding these recruitment posters. How would you like? What do you think's going through, uh, like your mind essentially?
I think Muriel would just be very bored with doing the same thing over again. Oh, go and change the sheets and having to go and help the people who are all praying, and it's not because she's doesn't want to help.
Hmm.
It's just the monotony that's making her feel like, oh, again?
Yeah,
Oh, why do I have to change the bed sheets again? Can't y'all change them yourselves? That sort of thing.
and
So at
yeah.
some point, I think that she would see the posters and probably would take one and go up to like the patriarch of the
Hmm.
monastery, just kind of begging like, "Can I go, please?"
Uh, so for the temple here, it is hold on. Uh-huh. Uh, yeah, so the high priest of this temple uh, is this half-elven woman by the name of Draura, Draura, and she kind of like sees you coming up, and already like her eyes are kind of like just slanting towards you, like, what is it now? Does anyone need help?
Muriel, obviously, since it's the high priestess, she's not gonna act out right now. And they're
Uh-huh.
gonna be like nice and respectful, like good day to you as well, high priestess. It's everything is all right. I've taken care of everything. I've I've made sure that I helped out with the beds as I was instructed as well. I've even gave out the alms that we have prepared. And then like when everything seems just fine,
Like
Muriel
she's about
is
to turn
gonna
away hearing that, and then
yeah, yeah. Muriel is gonna drop on her knees with like the poster being like, please, let me go, please, please.
she just
I
like
don't wanna
turns, sighs at you, kind of like looks around at like some of the people who are praying just starting to look up, and just like takes the poster from you, looks at it, and just goes, "You do know what this is, right? I can understand how what we've been doing here can take a toll, but are you certain that this is the solution for that toll?"
I swear on Muriel is gonna kind of pause being like, oh, what can I swear on? uh
Uh,
she's not gonna answer anymore. She's thinking of what she can swear on.
and she just looks at you, just, child, listen. This is, of course, something everyone has to make their own decision volunteering for, but you just need to understand that if you do that, you are risking your life. I know what disease thought. And yeah, the
And
just she's like looks at like, you are risking your life if you do this. Are you certain that that's what you want to do, and you're not simply looking at the first thing to get away from your daily duties?
Muriel is going to pause a little bit. They're kind of like, you know what? Maybe I did not think about that. But then after a small, like a few seconds of kind of gathering their thoughts, they're
Hmm.
gonna be like, well, we are worshiping the god of self-sacrifice in life, right?
You see, she just like shakes her head and just goes, and as I said, you are free to volunteer for this if that's what you truly want. I won't stop you. I myself will be providing relief and healing for any of the volunteers that get hurt. I just pray you are not one of them.
if I am, at least I have the green light, right? Because I know you're gonna heal me, right? Right? Right?
She just like pinches like the bridge of her nose and just goes, "Be safe."
But that those words, her demeanor kind of shifts from the going like please, please, please to like bowing and sort of like putting the I would say like the holy symbol that the woman wears to like
Mhm.
her forehead in sort of respect. And then she would sit up and like take back the wanted poster and everything, and they're gonna be like, I promise I'll be safe, High Priestess, thank you. And she's gonna run off full sprint. She's
The
not looking back anymore, she's running off full
second you
sprint.
turn and sprint out, like the second you leave like the threshold of your temple, essentially, you
Hmm.
immediately hear a voice in your head that immediately just goes, "Well, that was easier than I thought."
Yeah, Muriel is gonna kind of halt, almost tripping like over her own feet. She's gonna like dust her like clothes and everything, puts her sickles properly in her belt this time. They're not in her pocket anymore, and she's gonna be like, honestly, I thought she was gonna keep me inside or something. I didn't think that I could actually get out that easily.
No, right? Maybe she is finally getting a sense of whimsy.
Muriel is just gonna laugh and like keep going towards her
Mhm.
way, happily, merrily, like la la la.
Yeah. And you happily make your way over to the war camp. And as you start making your way, uh, we zoom in directly on the war camp itself first, where we zoom in on one Swervington. Would you like to describe yourself?
Oh, me, yeah. Hi. Yeah. So, Swervington Le Goodling's flat is the name. Half orc, um, big dude, about 6'3", 6'4", big for um his people. Uh, his other half is elf, but you can't really tell because he doesn't really have any distinct elf features. But yeah, built like a fucking bear is the vibe. He's uh, got like a bunch of tattoos down his up and down his arms. Uh, Whatever he wears, if it's full length sleeved, it's always pulled up to his elbows because he likes the way his tattoos look in the sun. Wearing this really shiny armor, which like looks like it's taken a few hits, but regardless, it still holds steady.
Mm-hmm.
Giant battle axe on his back, which also glints in the sun. It looks like it would do significantly more damage than a regular battle axe would. He's been blessed by his family, which is why he carries it with such reverence. Um, on the other side of it, though, you can also see a small satchel, which hangs loosely by his side and holds a small set of drums, which not like the giant drum set, but like just a small set, which shows a little bit of his softer side. Um, and on one of his arms, this is just for flavor. It wasn't really like a thing, but like one of his arms, you can see is slightly blackened and ashy, as if some sort of necrotic itch damage, which is a result of him dabbling too much into necrotic magic as a thing. Yeah. I had a whole hour and a half to come up with something, and I am blanking now. So, yeah, just that's the vibe. He's
Yeah.
very much just excited to be here, trying to prove a point to himself, really,
Yeah.
not to anyone else, because I have to do this, and I need to be able to prove to myself that I am good enough and I'm worthy of taking over the family business, which is protection. So this made
Yeah.
absolute perfect sense to come here and prove his mettle, because yeah.
Mm.
And
And yeah, like you just because of that itself, like you just like signed up and you've been at the war camp for like you got here pretty early, like when people were like coming in, like mercenaries and other like freelance warriors and whatnot kind of made the way before most of the other like extra volunteers and all started to come in. And you uh you for the since essentially like what, like 8 in the morning, like you for the last few hours you've just been watching this slow, like gradual increase in numbers, naval soldiers coming in from the dock side, moving their way down the northern wall into the city. You see from the southern end a bunch of different volunteers and whatnot start to stream their way in. Meanwhile, the elven troops of Emerald City itself have already begun to man the walls, set up trebuchets, stuff like that. And as all of that's happening, you were kind of just like, you were here, you gave your name, you've just been waiting and waiting, and you're like, wait, the fuck am I doing here? Like, let's get assigned to like our missions already and stuff like that. And eventually, uh, you are approached by this. You see this Asimar come up to you. Now, you know all like non-fallen Asimar in the world. They are all born of one singular goddess, and that is Selima, the goddess of summer and fire. And all Asimar come from her, all of them. That's why most of them live in Ibrikal. It's like known as like her city, essentially. And it is very rare to see Asimar outside of the city walls. Obviously, there's a few adventurers and whatnot here or there, but mostly they keep to themselves in their own like society and culture, which is very much cut off from the rest of the world. Now, as this person comes up, firstly, you clock this person is rich. You can tell from the just gold and blue embroidered clothing, and you see symbols of what is this majestic green elephant on one of like the shoulder pads, and the other one is like this emblazoned sun, and all and like it's like a known thing, like the more closely tied to a noble line in Asuma is the features are more distinctive. You see licks of fire at the edges of his hair, of his like silvery platinum hair that's kind of like going down his like shoulders, and you see a shimmering halo kind of glowing behind his head. And every now and then, like in the like correct light, you can see two pairs of wings also that keep like kind of shimmering in and out, like these spectral golden wings. And immediately you can clock that this person is a noble Asimar, and begs even the greater question: why is a noble this far away from his city? And he looks at you, kind of just like sitting there waiting, and just doesn't seem accompanied by any guards or anything. He just asks you, uh, uh, greetings. Are you perhaps here fighting on like the volunteer front by any chance?
DM, I have two questions.
Yeah,
Firstly, would I have met Asimar before, or is this my first time meeting him?
I'll say you. It depends. Would your family have ever gone to Ibrikal for their work?
Probably not. But
Then I'll say
I've
you've met.
heard of them, right?
You've heard. Yeah, you've heard of them. And if you've been to Ibrikal, you've seen Asimar. You probably haven't seen one this noble though.
Okay. Second question, is he cute?
He looks fantastic. He has so light bluish skin, very well cut, clean shaven, long silver platinum hair. You see small these arcane celestial markings kind of going around the side of his face, up around his eyes, and he's wearing like this, beautiful flowy blues and gold of like a robe essentially. And even though it's like a robe, Ibrikal is a desert. all of their like noble as clothing and stuff is very flowy and airy and stuff like that. And you can see like he has like this like shimmering like translucent esque like blue shimmers between like gaps in his robes, and you see like those same markings go all the way down his torso, and his eyes are essentially shining and glowing bluish, like almost like the iris itself is slightly on fire. So yes, I would describe him as attractive.
Okay. Okay, great. So Splat has been tossing a hand axe, trying to pass time, and every time he tosses it, he catches it by the handle, and it
Mhm.
hasn't hit him yet. And the minute he sees this Asimar approach, before they even start talking, the the toss slips and the axe falls right between his feet. Um, and before they even start talking, he's gonna stand up just to just to be at the same eye level, really. And
Yeah.
just like if you know him, like you can see like in his head, he's already started to create a ballad for this creature that he has just seen. Um, he barely pays attention
Uh,
to the first half of the sentence before he's like, "What? Oh, yeah, hi, yeah, I'm here to, yeah, agreed to volunteer because uh, I thought it would be a good way to give back. Hi, I'm Splat.
uh, roll me a deception for that. That's
Oh
not
damn,
why you're here at all.
shit, yeah, you're right. No, that was Steve for a second forgetting why he was here.
It went from I'm here to prove myself to I'm just giving back.
That is a 21. Let's go.
All right, all right. Uh, guy like looks at you and like gives like a little smile and just says, "Well, it is good to see the amount of people that don't seem to have military affiliation here, but they still chose to come here. I've I was on my way to uh, the well, the gathering for all the volunteers, but before I did that, I couldn't help but notice the axe that you carry. It is enchanted arcanely, is it not?"
Oh, yeah. And he reaches back, pulls out the axe, and basically offers it to the Asima to hold if they choose to.
Yeah.
It was enchanted by first by my dad's side of the family, and then by my mom's side of the family because they wanted to one up each other. So I got double enchantments. Really, um, yeah.
You see, like he has a very like slender frame essentially, and he just like kind of like looks over your axe and he just grabs it and lifts it up with as much ease as you would, and he's kind of like lifts it up and looks it over and just goes, "This is quite well made, more so than I would expect of most of the volunteers that I've observed so far."
Well, I don't mean to brag, but my family is kind of sort of richish, so you know, I don't like
You
to
see,
talk about it much because it's not relevant to why
he
I'm
kind of
here. But yeah,
chuckles and nods at that. He's like, "Well, I can relate to that. Well, we're all here for the same reason. Why bother, trudging up things that don't really matter here? Yes, of course. Well, I have been rather rude, though. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Ventus, Ventus Valoving, and I am also here in the same capacity as you are, as a mere volunteer. As you may notice, Ibrakal has decided not to really send assistance or forces for Emerald City. They're not really part of the Empire, so they are not, beholden to do it, of course. They're their own kingdom. But from what I have researched, I believe if whatever it is that's happening around, if we don't put a stop to it here, no borders are going to be safe, really. And just because my people don't find agreement in that does not mean that I do. And I was wondering, since we are all here for the same thing, I was hoping to see if some of the more capable people could be tasked with taking care of the volunteers who are simply here out of goodwill, but not as much, perhaps, skill to back it up. Let's not have people unnecessarily lose their lives because of bravery. And, well, you do, well, this axe certainly proves that you are capable in your own right, and I was wondering if perhaps we could, at the very least, keep each other's backs safe so we can keep the other people around here safe.
Uh, Splat mutters something under his breath about backs, and then agrees. Yeah, yeah, okay. That sounds like a plan. I don't really know anyone else here, so it's good to have a friend, maybe more, watching my back. Um,
I'm gonna do a roll for him to see if he picked up on that. It has been 5 minutes. The bard is already barding. Well, one of the bards, well, both of them are barding now. Fuck. Uh, he kind of, looks at you as you say that, and he, like, you see, like, his face kind of like twitches into like a bit of a smile as he, like, looks at the axe and like just starts to like hand it back to you, and he just smiles at you and goes, "Well, perhaps we can take one problem on at a time."
I mean, I wouldn't classify myself as a problem, but sure, yeah, let's sure.
And he kind of gives you a smile, and as you're like, taking your axe back, he kind of holds on to it for like half a second longer and lets go of it. Like you have to like tug on it to take the axe back. And as you take your weapon back, he kind of like gestures to you, and you both start walking towards the war camp. And all of you, at different points in time, begin walking into like this large tent. Like it's not like super big, but it's pretty big. It can house like probably like a dozen or a little more people. It's like a war tent. It's like this like open canopy from like the top, and as you enter, there's already like this like round table, like a regional map of Emerald City and the nearby areas set up on it. Uh, you see, there's a couple of other kind of soldiers in here already like murmuring to each other. Uh, and as you're all walking in, you kind of like you all clock each other. Obviously, like it's not like too many people here. Uh, After a little bit of time, you see. Hold on, just checking. Yep, okay. After a little bit of time, you see a few other individuals start coming in. You see this gnome walks in, uh, essentially dressed like a butler, almost, just wearing like a proper, like, just suit kind of a situation. But underneath that, you can very clearly see there's like, chainmail and stuff underneath the suit. And you see his left hand looks entirely either made or at least emglossed in silver. And he seems to be like a older looking gnome. Just has like hair brushed back, and he's kind of just like looking around, stroking his like very like well kept but like tiny little beard. He's kind of just like looking around at everyone quizzically. Uh, you see this big Aarakocra walks in, like a super tall looking Aarakocra, with a long red beak. This is a like a blue macaw kind of a bird with like you know long flowing feathers that kind of like go out into red. This bird is wearing full plate mail and has a big ass tower shield on one side, has a warhammer on the other, has a pair of slightly curved blades at both sides, and what looks like one more sword on his back. He is very much here for one purpose, and he will do it. And he has like just like a very like serious looker on him, just like looking around at everyone. uh You also see what looks like this very what can only be described as a very, very, very old human man. Uh, Old to the point you definitely think he's in the wrong place. He has a bit of a hobble as he's walking in, long, like Gandalf-esque flowing beard, uh, holding on to like a bunch of tomes that are like wrapped around a knapsack around his side, and he just like looks at all of you. He has markings and like different tattoos all around his neck and hand and everything. And you see, as like everyone else is kind of like looking around, gauging people. As he starts looking around, he locks eyes with each of you once, like just like looks at you, and like like in Christ's case, like you can like wave, and you see he just has like one eye like maddeningly looking at you, almost like seeing right at you, and the other one's kind of squinting, and you wave, and you can't tell like under all the facial hair, but you can tell he kind of like smiled at that. And he looks at all of you. At the same time, you see this very tall, young looking guy, super buff, blonde hair streaking past, like spiky blonde hair streaking past him. Sides of his face also have like, scaly spikiness kind of coming off of it. And he is jacked and has like a lightning bolt running across the side of his face. And he walks in, immediately walks up to the gnome who was standing there, looks down at him, and just kind of just starts saying, "Why the hell did you get here without me, old man?" And you see the gnome kind of just looks up and goes, "Because I knew you would catch up, boy." And you see, he does not like that answer whatsoever, and he very much just pouts and scoffs, crosses his arms, and kind of just grunts and looks away. And as you're all kind of like standing there, some people start whispering to each other. You're all also there. Uh, you see the like main kind of flap of the tent kind of like streaks open, and you just hear someone like kind of clearing their throat, and you just hear a voice go, "Hello, it's me." And you see this very tall, like 6'3" ish tall man kind of walk in. He looks burly, uh with very tanned, almost like leathery skin, like old manish skin almost. Like he looks middle aged, salt and peppery, like stubble kind of beginning to come out. Uh, his hair is also kind of just like, short, kept hair, just kind of like brushed back. Uh, he has like this big ass overcoat on, like a white overcoat with like different like medals and tassels hanging off the side. Uh, I'll say, given your histories, Iden and Swavington, both of you can, at the very least, recognize the markings mean a lieutenant. And the back of the cloak very clearly has the anchor and crown symbol of the Navy, of the Imperial Navy. Uh, and underneath, and it's like a free flowing, like just the overcoat is just on freely and it's just like tied at like the center, and that's how it's staying on. And underneath that, man is straight up wearing a Hawaiian shirt. Uh, has a couple of buttons slightly open, and like you see like little bit of like hair and like a little like scar kind of like running across, but very like faded and small. And you see he just like looks at all of you, gives like a very bright smile, and walks up to the table, and he just goes, "I am Go. I will be your lieutenant as well as commanding officer for this and following sets of operations. And I believe you, and most of you, are volunteers and other scouted individuals who have, out of their own volition, given to assisting us in our endeavors. And as he's talking, like his voice is clearly like booming across even the tent and outside on all the people out there.
Mhm.
And like Aiden, you're like 6'6". You are taller than this man. And like he kind of
Mhm.
like, goes around and starts like going and shaking everyone's hands one by one. He comes up
Mhm.
to you to like shake your hand. In height, you are definitely taller. There is zero doubt. But as he
Mhm.
shakes your hand, you can't shake this impression of this man just towering in front of you. Like just this larger than life presence, just like shaking your hand, and you feel smaller in this moment, which is something you have never felt really, given your
Not
size.
not since the belt,
Yeah.
because before the belt, I used to be like a little
Mm-hmm.
5'10", strength 8. Oh, sorry, spoilers. Uh, so I haven't felt this way in like almost a century.
Yeah.
It is good to meet you, Lieutenant Commander Gore. I am the overseer's representative. I am Aiden Op Naladin.
Ah,
I have been
young
sent by my
Aiden.
father, with all due respect, to both evaluate your character and ensure the success of this mission.
As you say that, he kind of like just chuckles. He's just like, it seems your father is still just as direct as he has always been. Good, good, good. I haven't seen you since you were but a wee lad. It is good
Uh,
to see how you have grown up.
Thank you. I'm happy to aid. Emerald City is my home. Its people are my people. And ultimately, I am here to help the people of Emerald City.
And you see, kind of smiles and nods. And he just says, that is why all of us are here. And there is no other cause greater to unite people than the protection of all the people that live within this fine city.
I'm going to squeeze his hand warmly in the
Hmm.
way a child squeezes the hand of their hero, as
Yeah.
he feels, okay, maybe. Maybe I misjudged the Empire in this case.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, he
on
very much like returns the warm handshake and looks around at like the rest of you as well, and he kind of just goes, "Now I'm not familiar with every single one of you, I must admit. However, I am certain that we are all here for the same goal, of course. Now, on to matters of import." And he kind of like, pulls out the map and he starts like, putting like just more like markers on different places to show the situation, essentially. And he, hold on. Da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, he looks over the map and he just goes, now, as you know, about a few days ago to a week, from what we can understand, we have lost contact with the soldiers and the priests stationed on Battle Bay. Now, this is cause for concern given what all resides on the island itself. From what we understand, many different holy sites reside there. And losing contact with such an important place is concerning, yes, but also odd given the level of protections that already existed on that island. And since then, many of the different fishing villages and smaller town settlements along the northern coast have been calling for aid, calling for aid from strange creatures that they have not been able to quite correlate. Now, if it were up to me, I would simply go find what these creatures are, but it seems they are being more careful than we would like. as such. And uh, I have brought in an expert on such matters. And he gestures to the old man who was eyeing all of you. And he just goes, "This is an old acquaintance or friend of mine by the name of Raik. He has been quite well educated, let us say, in matters of the interplanar. And you see, Drake, this old wizard looking man, kind of walks up, like stroking his beard, like he pulls out a few books, kind of pores over a few pages, and like you see essentially like using like minor illusions and like minor imaging magic kind of like starts showing you different creatures that you all aren't familiar with either, really. You see these like ranging from like just these like tiny weird amalgamations of flesh, teeth, and eyes, just like absolutely horrific inhumane creatures, to slightly larger, more humanoid as bipedal creatures with long fangs, claws, and wings, and all kinds of stuff. And he starts showing all of these, and he just says, "From what I have learned, it would seem we are dealing with abyssal creatures. I do not know how familiar everyone here is with the abyss, but from what we have learned and from where they are coming, we can assume some incident has undergone on the island of Barnacle Bay, which has given rise to an abyssal incursion of sorts. Now, whatever this incursion is, we can be certain it is not a very large one yet. Otherwise, we would have seen more telltale signs of larger creatures and more natural phenomena going haywire. We would have seen from..." And he kind of like stops and he goes, "The abyss are the forces of demons, the forces of chaos. They don't move in ordinary fashions. That means the only reason they would have to not be attacking everywhere they see is because they have not amassed all their numbers yet. The tear to the abyss has to be smaller, only allowing for a few at a time to pass over. But a tear into the material plane is unnatural to begin with. I can assume it is only getting larger by time. If left unchecked, we can see things all the way from entire hordes of demons pillaging their way across the northern hemisphere of the mainland, corrupting and spreading their abyssal threat, all the way to that threat colliding with the material plane and breaking the balance of what makes our world our own. As you can imagine, this is not ideal. Now, the few major settlements nearby that have called for aid and these incidents, we must make haste and evacuate those settlements before the forces that have been plaguing them advance further. If left alone for too long, those people will already fall victim, and then those that fall victim will fall to the corruption of the abyss and join this horde. And this horde will get larger and larger, but depending on the scope of its victims. And then the army that marches on the walls of Emerald City will be far too large to contain. For now, all we can hope to do is. And you see, he kind of like takes a deep breath, and like you see, he kind of goes woozy, almost like he's getting like lightheaded. And as that's happening, you see, Lieutenant Go kind of puts a hand on his shoulder and like just squeezes it and continues and says, "Because of such a threat, it is only ideal that we split our volunteer forces as much as we can feasibly, send them to each of the different settlements and evacuate the good people living there. And the people that evacuate away from there can then be safe while we also reduce the number of forces that will be attacking us. And once this inevitable attack comes towards Emerald City, we put a stop to it with what we have, just long enough to buy time for us to send a punitive force across ships over to Barnacle Bay and find out what has actually happened on the little island, and put a stop to this interplanar tear that my good friend has already mentioned. It is a many-stepped process, and at the very least, it is not a safe one because we do not know exactly what we are up against. We do not know the numbers we are up against. We do not know why this is happening. And we do not know if it is the Abyss acting on its own, or is this an attack prompted by something else? Either way, all of you, from what we have gathered across the volunteers, have some level of power, some level of aptitude that sets you to perhaps even lead your own small regiments. And if that is the case, that makes it easier for us here who are already spread a little thin in terms of commanding forces without as many troops as we have. So, I know you have only signed up to defend the city, but I will ask all of you good people here if you would be willing to make your way out and helping the Empire and Emerald City in this endeavor.
I am
Okay.
more than happy to take whatever direct action is necessary to keep the city safe. But have we considered doing a speed run into Barnacle Bay to seal the tear first?
He looks at you and like nods, and he just goes, "From what we understand at the moment, the waters between the island prove to be treacherous. We have sent multiple ships already to scout out the location and see the situation on the island, but none of the vessels have returned."
You wish to know the tale of the tear. We do not know where the tear came from, correct? But we do know it exists.
We know the tear exists, yes, but we cannot do anything about the tear until the path to the island is cleared. To do that, we have to go to the nearby settlements and break
Right.
apart this encroaching horde around this entire ocean.
Lieutenant,
Demons.
would it be useful to know the source of the tear?
Most certainly.
Do you have pure ivory?
I am certain we can source a material like that, yes.
Bring me, and I give him the exact spell components for legend lore, which I believe is 4.
Man came in with legend lore. I forgot.
I'm going to, very respectfully retrieve that, and then once it is retrieved, just for editing purposes, because I don't want to cut into RP time, I will perform the ritual of legend lore to reveal the tale of what caused this tear.
All right. So let me just look at legend lore real quick.
No, absolutely. Go on ahead. I took it for this purpose.
Fair enough. So it can consist of current tales. Yeah, that's what I was checking. All right.
While this is happening, Splats is going to lean into his new Asamara friend. He's like, I feel like if there's people here who can do this sort of magic, why are we even needed here? Can we just
Uh,
leave?
you see your friend kind of just like, trying to like more focus on like the war council, kind of like, just turns and like whispers to you real quick and just goes, well, because people can do great magic, that does not mean that they do not need strength of arms in keeping the people safe yet. And as he kind of whispers that, you cast your legend low, and
Yes.
what you learn is a couple of things. Firstly, this stair on the island of Barnacle Bay is not a current tale thing. This is a
Ooh.
very old thing. And from what you know, the island is a holy place, yes. And this holy place was formed probably like closer to even like the dawn of mortal kind, even. And
Wow.
it's one of the oldest places in existence. And whatever the gods did here, there is a story that a long, long time ago, a group of 11 gods got together and joined hands and performed a great magic. A magic only gods were capable of then, which preserved and protected the world that you live in now. However, that magic itself, you can gather, is this quote unquote seal of a kind. And whatever the seal was, is a seal that has been technically against natural order because they did it to protect the world. Like they sealed stuff away, but the natural order didn't have the seal to begin with. And because of that, over time, over thousands upon thousands of years now, that seal, ever so slightly and ever so slowly, was weakening and cracking for years and years and years. And now, what you're gathering in your current age, this seal has fully cracked open. Or, well, not fully, but has cracked open enough to the other side. And now you've learned that the other side is the abyss. So that means whatever the god sealed was the abyss, or whatever the abyss was back then. And this stair is still not fully formed. If it fully forms, things will go back to their quote unquote natural order. And that would mean that whatever world or plane that they seal there will collide with the material plane and go back to how things were, which will probably mean the end of most life as you know it at the very least. Uh, but the source itself, you know from Legend Lore, the source is partly the magic of the gods failing over time. Secondly, something pushing from the other side of that seal over and over and over again against this weakening magic. And lastly, is the oldest, like, tale you would know. Not well, not oldest tale, but one of the older tales you would know. It's like a children's tale almost, uh, which is just people warning their kids, like, like a bedtime story kind of a thing, like, beware Barnacle Bay and what lurks beneath it. The monster that protects will come and eat you, stuff like that.
Conscious means I, perform these stories. The ritual itself, I think my character brought like a polished rosewood bowl, put the components in, um, uh, rang like a clear bell just for sound, just to sort of get
Mm-hmm.
rhythm, and then the components glow and the bowl and turn into smoke that fills his nostrils, and then his eyes go white for a moment as he begins recounting all of this information in the form of like a narrative poem. The first part he says in Elvish, and then the second he says in Common, to translate for everyone in the room. And then when the end of his performance will be the children's folktale, and he will sing beware within. And then he'll blink and it'll go back to his regular brown kind of gold flecked eyes.
Yeah. And even as you said that, you actually see like a couple of the people like look around in the room like, wait, what the fuck? And you see Rai looks at you wide-eyed, and he just like looks at you as you kind of come out of your vision, and he just goes, "So you know it as well then? Good. Then you know what it is our quarry is, and you know what we travel to. Once we clear a path, we must do what was done many times so long ago. But we
I
are
understand.
mere mortals."
I understand why this would be important. Whatever has been attacking from the other side, I believe may end up being our true enemy in the end. This is difficult for me. I've lived a very long time, and time is different for my kind. This is hard because this is a defiance of the natural order. And one time, the abyss and this world were one. And I don't know if we have the power or even the right to reseal the seal.
He looks at you and nods and says,
And he looks concerned, right? And this is
"Yeah,
very different. Most elves would be like, well, let's figure out a way to save as many people as possible, but we shouldn't seal the crack. This is just the way it is. But there's a worriedness in his eyes. I'm going to do my best. Well, I don't know if my father is going to understand, but maybe he will. He's a great leader. But I don't know if other elves are going to understand in the long run. But I just want to let you know the politics of this mystically are very complicated. And I look worriedly over at the Asimar.
He seems to just be as like shocked as you are at like what you just like legend lore for everyone, but he also very much is just like kind of nodding in agreement, like, yeah, it's something that must be done even if it doesn't sound nice.
You can rely on me, Lieutenant, to protect these people to the end and protect the city. But I believe that our priorities should be fighting the evil that is smashing it from the other side, not necessarily sealing the crack. Because I don't even know if we're capable of sealing the crack.
You see, as you say that, Reich kind of like nods at you and just says, "There are many natural orders that have been in place for thousands of years by beings that came before us. And yes, you would be right. If we attempted a spell of similar caliber, we would most likely fail. However, as long as the crack does not fully break open, we can still repair it with the magic we possess. As long as we can reach before everything is torn asunder, there is hope. As for facing the thing on the other end, that might be less likely for us. If even gods had to seal it away, what hope would you consider a mortal of having, of destroying such evil?"
I carry upon me the fire and the heart of the great goddess of fire and summer. I believe that together we can overcome this evil.
"And we shall certainly try, but we must also be prepared to seal this crack, if anything, temporarily, until we know what it is we are facing and can prepare a way to fully destroy it without destroying ourselves.
And I nod
then let's go.
respectfully, deferring.
Kind.
I will defer to your wisdom, my friend, as I see you have probably lived as long as I have.
Kind of just gives you a smile and nods at you. What were you saying?
Our Kenku friend is incredibly enthusiastic and would
Yeah,
very much
I
like
was
to
just
go.
like, let's go.
Yeah.
I think
Muriel
some
was just playing solitaire to the whole thing until the whole thing was dropped in the ritual.
Yeah. As you guys kind of like gather this new piece of knowledge that your new ally here has given you, and the weight of what is actually coming towards the city rather than just plain old rumors, your eyes again dart over to the map and you begin pondering what your first move is. And that is where we can take a little break. But I believe, Steve, you also had a question about the pantheon, like gods, essentially.
Yeah. So my question, basically, like a broad strokes question, was, if this was done by the gods, why can't they just come down and help? Would my character know?
Uh, give me a religion check.
Okay. All right. Where is my thing? There we go. Religion. I have a +4 to religion. That's surprising. That doesn't help. It's an 8.
Uh, Even with an 8, like, like one thing, like, yeah, people pray to gods. People have there are clerics here, there's paladins here who have been given blessings and stuff by different gods and stuff, but the gods have not been hands-on with the world in millennia. Like, no one has heard of a god like directly like showing up and doing something for thousands of years. And like they very much keep to Celestia and to their own domains, and most of their wills are carried out by their people who live here. And beyond the only like kind of outlier case from that you've ever heard of is the god Pan, who's the god of like music and freedom. uh he has been known, like rumored, or like people like talk about in like folk tales and stuff, that Pan walks amidst the people all the time. It's how he is essentially like the god of bards, and he is known to be someone who kind of just like he loves people. He kind of wanders around collecting stories and turning them into songs that last for all of time, because that's his whole deal. And beyond him, though, no other god really comes down here. It's its own place.
Okay. That kind of establishes my character for me a little bit better. So while this is happening,
For sure.
just like while Aiden was recounting the whole story of the gods and everything they did to seal the abyssal, whatever.
Yeah.
If you're near Splat, under his breath, you can hear him whisper, "Fucking gods just doing the whole fucking place for us and then leave and never fucking come back. And they look at the mess they've caused. It's just fucking bullshit. God damn it! Gods damn it! Really?
I'm sorry, but I have to roll something.
Oh no!
Hold
Oh no! I fucked it.
Cool. Yeah. As you were.
So yeah, I think
So as
Runt's
you,
going to. Sorry, yeah, I was going to say Runt's going to kind of mutter under his breath. I didn't think I'd have to cash this in so soon, and stride forward next to Aiden, put a hand on his shoulder, and hand him one of his tokens as he shakes his hand. Just give him a wink and say, I am my lord's protector, and second, I go where he goes.
Yes, he does.
If you're thinking of breaking this group up, make sure I go with him.
You see, the lieutenant kind of looks at you and just kind of gives you a curt nod and says, "Of course, we wouldn't want to separate people who already, well, can work together. We already have enough of a makeshift army as it is."
Runt and I are old. Actually, he doesn't say that. He says R. He says R and I are old associates.
For sure. And you see, like, you can go, like, he smiles and, like, nods. And as he's, like, showing the map to you, there are 3 specific locations that have essentially called for help. And you guys, being volunteers, can choose out of these 3 places where would you want to go in the immediate vicinity to assist in the evacuation, essentially. So there is the port town of Venter Reach, which is to the west of Emerald City. It's about like a couple days from Emerald City, if you're like traveling via wagon and stuff like that. And there is the town of Corvin's Retreat, which is a little further, and that's like about 4 days journey away. And lastly, there is Gast Isle, which is a small fishing island town, a little northeast of Emerald City. It's not that far, actually. It's probably a few. It's like not on the map there. It's a very tiny island. It's on the northeast, about a few hours, probably like half a day or day's journey away by ship. Uh, that is probably the like quickest place to get to. The only thing there is, firstly, going and coming back is going to be cumbersome in the fact that it is a naval journey. And secondly, as you have heard, the ocean waters are very dangerous right now. So there is a risk factor, but it is the quickest compared to the other 2 places. So it is up to you guys. Like, you guys are all like assigned into the same unit. It depends on where you want to go, which will determine who else is assigned with you.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Okay, I have a suggestion based on complete and total logic.
Okay.
We have a Kenku. A Kenku is a corvette. Therefore, we go to Corvette's retreat.
You want to let Kai make decisions about this? The person who knows nothing about the entire world beyond the woods that they were in.
I say, as long as we travel how the crow flies, then.
You sure you want to trust the trickster nun of all things to make a decision in this?
I have. Hold on. I'm trying to all right. I am going to look at this map, look at these locations. It's going to be the most difficult getting back, but I think we should go to Gast Isle.
All right. Up to everyone. Yeah.
I think.
What does everyone else think, though? I'm open to my mind being changed.
See, my first thought was the same.
Go anywhere.
Because I can try and call in a favor, and see if I can get us a faster quality ship.
Oh, you're getting like Imperial naval vessels. Don't worry about quality of ship. You're getting the best ships in the world.
Okay. Oh no, of course. I don't know. I just feel like it's the fastest way to get to people, and I feel like because they're on an island, they are in the most danger.
That's actually a good point. Yeah.
Run definitely feels it would be prudent to go to the closest point to the city to not be away from the city for as long.
All right.
Yeah, my immediate thought was also to go to the island, but my only concern is, since it's going to be a difficult journey, because the entire area is swarming with little creatures. If we want to take that risk. That was the only thing. But if everybody's on board,
All right. Is that the consensus then, Gastai?
Sister
All right.
Muriel, do you have any insight?
Muriel is just gonna kind of like snap her head around and being like called out. She was shuffling a deck like, huh? What?
You've been remarkably quiet this entire time. Considering that you are such an important spiritual community leader, I would like to get your opinion before we get a consensus. Honored
And
sister.
Muriel is just gonna kind of stare and blink a few times. It's gonna be like, oh, you actually think I'm trustworthy? Oh,
Can I?
Sister Muriel, I at the very least trust that you will have an opinion. And that is all that we need right now.
I would like
In
to
all
try to get a
honesty-
read on how trustworthy Muriel is after she says that.
Roll me an insight. And Muriel can roll me a performance or deception. Their choice.
I have to roll. Wait.
Oh, that's just 50.
Performance or perception.
Can I do a deception? Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, I need to see which one is higher. Wait. Damn it, they're both the same. God
Make a
dang it.
decision.
Okay. Huh? Did it work? Did it not work?
It's rolling.
Hold on.
Oh, okay, it's still rolling.
It's still rolling.
I think it's slow. 'Cause
That is
it's
sad.
doing Oh, okay.
Ooh.
There it goes.
You. Yeah. No. Sparky, you can look them over, and Muriel looks genuinely shocked. Like, wait, people are trusting me. What the fuck? Almost like they are not used to being trusted.
Interesting. I'll just like kind of stare at Muriel a bit then.
Mhm.
With like my
No,
fur on edge.
Muriel is. Yeah, no, Muriel was shuffling the deck. She's kind of like now trying to like put it in her pocket like nothing happened, you know? Like, right, yes, because I'm so important, of course. Yeah.
Yes.
And
She,
yeah.
yeah, so I believe that if everybody already agreed to something, I don't think my opinion is needed.
Thank you. Most appreciated your willingness to compromise. So, Aiden very like dramatically points to the island, where there's like a little boat, and he's like, "To the isle it is."
Okay. As you do that, like all of like the military officials that's standing around the table are like, okay. It's just like they just like look at each other and nod. And you see Lieutenant Goa kind of like just smiles and just goes, well, if it is to the isle you go, then please take some soldiers as well as some of our finest ships.
Excellent.
And
I have a question.
yes.
What is a ship?
Oh, it's a vessel that takes you over the water, kind of like a leaf on the river. It's a very large.
Oh. And we're going on.
We will be inside it. Think of it as a leaf on the river with ants on it. The ants will remain dry, but the leaf is massive enough for our size.
Right, a big. Okay.
And we can control it with sails that catch the wind.
Right.
Which are like other leaves. A leaf with other leaves on it.
You see, you like Ifrit got it, and then he got more confused.
You see, all the naval officials are just seeing this entire exchange go down, and like people describing a ship to this person, they're just like, interesting.
My character is just trying to narrow it down because it's context clues. Forest folk. They asked what a ship was.
It's more so they're very much going like, Ah, these are the people we are entrusting with the island. Good to know.
Yeah. Okay, well,
Yeah,
let's go to the leaf then.
Yes. Uh,
and uh, also gas style means Ventus is coming with you,
mhm.
and da-da-da-da-da, and you also see well, I guess you don't see it, but you as basically you're kind of like getting ready to like leave. You see this young boy, like probably 12 years old, but like quite like tall and physically built for his age. He's just a human, slightly tad skin, wearing simple clothes. He runs in. He kind of like just like runs up to you, almost like up to all of you, and like looks past you towards the lieutenant, and he just goes, "I want to go too." And you see the lieutenant kind of just looks over, and he just goes, "Now, young William, as I told you, you are permitted to accompany me on behalf of your family, yes. We cannot send you to any front lines now, can we?" And he just goes, "I mean, I'm stronger than most of the soldiers you have here, so why not? I have all of their training. I know how to use a ship." And like just kind of points at like Cry and just goes, "Better than this person at least."
Just wait.
They don't even know what a ship is, and you're okay with them going, but oh, apparently I can't go after 2 years of sailing experience.
You have 2 years of sailing experience.
I don't
And he
think
just
we
like
should have a
turns to look.
child.
He like turns to look at you like, "Yeah,
Hmm.
I don't know who you are, but yes,
It's a
I
pleasure to meet
do."
you. I'm Scion Aiden Ap Nararin. I am the High Overseer's son. So I know exactly where you're coming from. But you have to understand, and I get like down on my knees so that I'm like more eye level with him.
Yeah, and
When you are an heir to a royal family, your life is incredibly valuable. I understand that you are incredibly capable because they train us from birth to be the best we can be and to lead our people. But here is the thing: you need to live to the age of majority. That was hard for me. I had to wait a century. But you are a human being. You only have to wait a few more years. Take this time to study and become the best you can be. Study so hard that you make him regret not letting you go, because we need you to carry the next generation and lead it should the adults not come back. And I put my hand on his shoulder, and I would like to make a persuasion check
yeah,
to
I was
convince
gonna
him to
say
stay here, not because I don't think he's capable, but because it's more important for him
someone
to
needs to stay
live
behind.
and lead if we don't come back.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say roll me a persuasion with advantage.
I got it. Okay. Because I feel this kid, but I'm also listening to Sparkling Water. Sparkling Water is like, it's a child. I'm like, oh, ooh, yeah, right. I forget.
Actual 12-year-old.
Actual 12-year-old. Oh, yeah, right. Okay. I got a 24.
Yeah. You roll a 24 and you see like kind of like isn't like making eye contact with you. He's kind of like looking down as you're saying all of this.
Yeah.
And you do see his like shoulders kind of do like stop being as tense, and he kind of like, slightly feeling defeated, like kind of like slumps a little.
Mhm.
And as that's happening, you see Lieutenant Go also kind of walks up to you, like kind of like kneeling, and also crouches down. He kind of gives you a very like thankful like smile and nod, like, "Yeah, thanks for the help," kind of a thing. And
Yeah.
he just looks at William here, and he just goes, "Honestly, I could not have put it better myself. It is as your young friend here is saying as well, young William. And that does not mean that you are simply here to watch. there are plenty of things you can still do to aid our effort. And he basically like starts to like point him towards like the barracks and stuff, like help people get armed, help, tend to the wounded, like do stuff to help if you want to, but don't go to the front lines. And you see Will kind of just slightly defeated but kind of understanding, gives a nod, looks over at you, Aiden, like finally, like for first time, like he kind of looks you in the eye and he just kind of goes, I mean, I do want to fight on the front lines, but that doesn't mean you should go get killed there, so I have to then. So don't die.
I will do my best. My father is remaining in the city. He's an incredibly wise individual, and there is more that you can learn from him. If you have the ears of the nobility in the north, I think my father would like to have a conversation with you.
Just looks at you and he just goes, I mean, I don't really know much about my family stuff, but sure, I am here to represent them.
Invoke my name at the palace. And he goes in and he hands him not a clay tablet, but like one that's like metal that I usually do for like more upper class people. And I'm like, please present this at the palace. This is my this is my royal favor. And my father will know that you are there with my backing. He might still make you wait, but you will wait significantly less time than is typical for a foreign noble.
Runt will put his arm around the lad. Say, come lad, I'll show you the best way to the castle, to the palace.
Yeah.
And as he's walking him out, he will hand him a note and said, take this to the Singing Kettle Cafe, give it to a man named Blake. And it will be a note that simply warns of Huxley being in the city. And
using the kid as an informant.
Oh, absolutely. And he will also say, and if you find yourself starved of action, Drake's a man who can find yourself.
I think. Can I have a little cut, like once, like Runt leaves with the kid, where my character just gets up and puts his hands on his temples, and I'm like, oh gosh, I should not have let him leave with R. Oh well, he won't be harmed. And I'll just get up and head back to the group, and just trust Runt to handle it.
Yeah, that works perfectly. You give the kid the note, and the kid kind of goes like, yeah, sure. And he starts walking off, and you see literally like 20 steps away from you, he unfolds the letter, reads it, and then closes it again and keeps walking.
I would expect nothing less.
You didn't tell him to not look at it.
No.
I also could have written it in Thieves' Cant if I didn't want him to read
exactly.
It, so.
That would have been scary if you wrote it in Thieves' Camp and he did. I'm like, oh my gosh.
He
Rogue
levels.
Like,
what the
fuck? Rogue levels on a noble. I'm in trouble now.
And yeah, with that little encounter, you guys begin heading your way to the northern wall, past the encampment towards the docks. And hold up. Yeah, you all begin making your way there. Well, all of you plus Ventus, and as you're making your way, you are also.
DM, sorry.
Yeah.
Before we leave, since the new friend is not coming with.
Ventus is that new friend for you.
He's coming with.
Wait.
Ventress is coming.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind then. Okay.
Cool.
I didn't get the name right. That's my bad.
It's Ventus. All right. You also see some soldiers joining you, like people to help you man the ship, people who are kind of like, an additional force to kind of go reinforce the forces at Gastad, whatever handful that they are. They're loading up a couple of cannons, a few ballista, like you see, like, about 50 or so extra soldiers start loading up on like a second ship that's going to be accompanying you. And you all begin to load up, get your things, get them all situated. Couple of things happen just as you're departing. Firstly, Muriel, you hear your friend like kind of just drop in real quick again, and you just hear them go, "Hmm, going to fun little island, are we?"
Muriel is gonna kind of like look around a little bit, like, oh damn, if these people catch me, I'm like screwed over. Uh, and in their end, Muriel is gonna kind of be like, uh, um, don't you think you picked like the best time ever to send me little messages? Like, just saying.
Oh, I mean, things are happening around, aren't they? If things are happening, I tend to get interested.
Uh,
Certainly better than all the boring stuff you were doing back at the temple now, isn't it?
please don't remind me. If I have to wash sheets one more time, I'm going to jump off the ship.
Oh, no, you shouldn't do that. Didn't you hear at the briefing? The waters are quite dangerous, you know.
Eh,
And what would
it would
I
be
ever
fun.
do if something happened to you?
Find someone else.
It just wouldn't be the same now, would it?
I am very much flattered and concerned.
Good. Now, I did have a teensy weensy little favor. If you would be, you know, free in the next 6.5 hours or so,
A
while,
favor, and what's that favor?
well, from what I gather, you're gonna be on a little boat making your way to an island for the rest of the day. There might be something really fun on your boat, and I was wondering if you could go pick it up and then just drop it overboard for me.
What's that item?
Does it really matter?
Well, yeah, I need to know what I have to pick up and drop overboard, you know?
Well, to be more literal, I suppose the item will come to you. But when it has, then yes, you will certainly have to do the dropping, I suppose. If you need to know, all you need to know is it is something that I don't really need on my hands or yours really anymore. So I just need to dump it overboard.
You're being rather skeptical, and you know some of the riddles that you always make are not fun. I need more information, you know?
Well, you certainly do need more information. And I certainly need my little favor completed. But then again, I'm already doing you a favor for the favor I'm asking for already, aren't I?
Mm,
So if you want more information, what am I getting?
God dang it. Uh, Muriel is gonna kind of like. Muriel at this point is frowning, like full on scowling. She's trying to think of something. She is not thinking of anything. Brain empty at the
How
moment.
about this? We're good friends, right? How about I give you the information you're asking for this favor, but in exchange, the next time I ask you a favor after this one, you do it no questions asked immediately.
Mm, mm, mm. You're doing a funny one there. Funny man, you're doing a funny one there, you know? Muriel at this point is like squirming. At this point is I don't like this. Why would you make me choose that? Um, she's gonna kind of think about it, and in the last ditch effort, she's going to say, "Can I return in one business day of negotiation?"
No, the favor's for the next 6 hours.
I tried.
Well,
Uh, okay. One question that has nothing to do with the object but with me.
you can ask your question.
Okay. Is that thing good or bad for me?
Hmm. Who knows?
Or you sure are no fun?
I like to think I'm plenty of fun. I said you could ask your question. I never said I would answer it, now did I?
You always drive me up the walls, even in the monastery in the middle of prayers. You're always yapping. Okay.
I thought that's what
Hmm.
kept sermons fun.
It did. It was better than listening to the high priestess. All right. Fine, I'll drop it.
Lovely. You'll be hearing from me very soon then. And
Yay.
the voice fades. While you were squirming with that cry, you're having your own little ordeal of seeing a ship. Uh,
Yeah.
this is not a traditional ship to begin with. This is not a sailing vessel. This is a Warple warship made by the Navy. It is this large
Ooh.
warship made of a mixture of metal and like the hull itself is made of like different alloys and wood and everything.
Oh.
There are sails on it, but they seem very minimalistic. Uh, I'll say people who live in Emerald City. So basically everyone but Cry would know. Oh well, everyone but Cry and Sorenton. But I think Sorenton would know just from being kind of all over the place.
Mhm.
Vorpal vessels are powered by this enormous arcane crystal that is embedded into the base of the hull of the ship, like at its like lowest level, and it takes one to multiple arcanus, depending on the size of the crystal, to basically power it and keep it stable and in tune, and that
Mhm.
essentially lets the ship move against the ocean currents by using like essentially a form of evocation and transmutation magic.
Mhm.
And Warple vessels have sails mostly because if the engine isn't working, they can kind of still like operate, but not really. But while the engine's working, they are very quick. And
Mm.
that's why the ship has cannons and all kinds of stuff. So the second like try you get on the ship, like right under your feet, it is like whirring slightly. Like there's a hum to the ground.
Yeah, like,
Oh.
they would turn to it was like, it's not a leaf. It's not.
No, I said it was like a leaf.
It does
It's
not. Have you ever seen a leaf? It does not
it's
look like a
magic.
leaf.
It's like if you made a leaf into a building and added magic.
Mm-hmm.
You've been
Okay.
in a building, right?
Yes,
And then,
technically.
yes,
It's a
I
metal
agree.
leaf. It's a
Okay.
metal leaf.
And just
Just
they'll just like
disappointing.
walk, yeah, just like go like sit
You
like maybe
know,
like the
I
front and
think
like watch
I
out
think
the.
perhaps
Muriel, I have a
perhaps I
feeling that
used the.
Muriel.
Oh, go ahead, Muriel.
No, I was gonna say I have a feeling that Muriel is gonna kind of like look up in her head, sort of like, "You touch this one, I'm going to." Do you hear me?
As I say, oh, I might have used. I tried to use the best metaphor I could. It's more like, have you seen a floating hollow log?
No, wait. Is there a question for DM? Does a river run through the forest?
There would
Through
be
it?
like streams and like a
Streams.
small lake and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
It's
maybe.
have you ever oh wait a minute. I don't know why I didn't ask. A raft. Have you ever been on a raft?
No, I don't think.
So you know how wood floats on water?
Yes.
This thing is made of a lot of wood and metal that is enchanted to be as light as wood. So we can travel on the water, on the wood itself.
Okay.
I mentioned the leaf before because this is going to go as fast as a leaf would on water.
Okay.
I didn't want you to be surprised by the speed. I should have started with the size. My apologies.
That's okay. And just goes to like I guess the front of the ship, sort of like looking out the water, because they've also never seen the ocean before.
Yeah.
So it's just like
Yeah.
there's this moment of just like everything
Yeah.
today has just been new experience upon new experience upon new experience. It's just like
It is not stopping anytime.
even just like to the point of like seeing the other people with me, like
Yeah.
they've never like encountered other people in general before, so it's like, oh, there's so many different kinds of people, and
Mhm.
yeah, this whole group of just like, you know, we've got Tabaxi, Bugbear, like a Dragonfall, like we've all kinds of
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
So
And
this is
there's
like
an
the best day
Asimile.
of their
Yeah.
life. This is like the best day of their life. They're like, there's so many things.
Aiden is eating it up. At one point, Aiden is like very curious. Is it true that that your people learn language through mimicry, or is that just a myth?
It is more of a myth.
My people.
Oh, have you not met any other Raven folk or Kenku?
No.
Wow. Oh, so you're an orphan. Everything that I've read.
I have Mama.
Oh, Mama. Oh, is Mama a spirit or
Mama, it's not. I don't know where she is now, but I'm trying to. That's why I left the woods. I was trying to find.
I'm trying to find her. Well,
Yeah.
Once we're done with this mission, and thank you so much for volunteering, I'd be more than happy to help you find your mother.
Okay.
Now, this is the ocean. In Elvish, we call it, and like...
Amazing.
Oh.
Let me check something on my sheet, because I do have a mimicry something.
I can features do give mimicry. Yes.
I can.
Yeah.
Yes. So I can like you will like. I can accurately mimic sounds I've heard, including voices. So you say like the elven word for the ocean, and Kai mimics your voice saying that word.
Exactly. Perfect. Oh. I pull out my little journal and be like, yes, Kenku,
it's
you
true.
learn from... It's true. And
I think I'm just side-eyeing you.
Just
this
like
whole
where
time.
this whole time.
I'm just side-eyeing you, like, why are you troubling this poor thing?
Ron just mutters to himself, I mean, technically everybody learns language through mimicry.
That is true.
Muriel is just there.
What do you do, a Kenku?
Yeah, no, Muriel is just there like, I want to adopt them.
I think it's already established we will all die for crying.
Yes.
Okay, great. Because I'm the one supposed to keep you guys alive.
Everyone in character wants to protect the cleric. It makes sense.
It absolutely makes sense.
Yeah, that does make sense.
I think at another time my character is going to like kind of go to like everybody in the group, but sparkling water in particular, I think Aiden is going to be like, that is an incredible work of craftsmanship. Isn't this ship amazing? As I try to like engage in conversation with sparkling water about what's happening, I'm trying to keep the morale up.
Offense.
You know,
she's instantly like if you're talking about like craftsmanship, she's instantly going to take you up. She's going to be like, oh right, the ship is so great. Like, have you noticed like this paneling over here? Do you even know how the crystal like runs a ship? And probably just like bringing up facts about the
Yeah, yeah.
crystal and
Do you
all
think
these
if there's
things.
and occasionally I'll throw in things like, do you think if there's an emergency, you and I would be able to run the ship? Kind of like you finding out like the expertise that sparkling water has, if we get
That's a
attacked,
good
what we can
question.
do, and just kind of like letting you like nerd out at me, but also pulling like contingency plans in case something goes wrong.
She's going to full info dump. Well, actually, good question, GM. Would we be able to like do?
Yeah,
Are we
because
that
I'm
strong?
a bard. I have spell casting. Sparkling water
You'll
is
find
an
out. None
artificer.
of
Oh,
you
we'll find.
have water vehicle proficiency, so if that
Mm-mm.
comes to
But
like
it's a
happen,
giant gem.
It's a giant magic
yes.
gem.
And magic can be of many different kinds. You don't know the exact magic of gem. You can probably infer from the runes on it and try to make it work, but you can only know that once you try, essentially.
Oh.
If anyone had water vehicle proficiency, I would have said yes, you can do it. But
No.
Can I at least try to intuit? Like, do I have to look at them, or can I at least try to intuit like a vague idea of how it might work?
you go to the lower deck then to look at the gem and
I
everything.
don't want to go downstairs. Well, actually, I would because like we've got a
Yeah,
few
yeah.
hours. There's no
I will
reason I wouldn't.
accompany. I will. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
going to accompany Sparkling Water just to
Yeah.
and
Uh,
of course Runt is going to come with me because Runt is doesn't know these people and wants to keep me alive.
Yeah.
So at the
uh,
very least, the
Oh.
three of us will go down while
the
I
latter is
tries and
still like
join the ocean.
I think if Runt is coming with us, then Sparkling is going to look back one point and be like, "Oh, are you also interested in the magics and the construction of the ship?"
I am interested in everything he's interested
Oh, that's lovely.
in.
uh, I will say because Aiden is here helping you, you can give me an Arcana check with advantage.
Ah,
Ooh,
excellent.
I have no idea how to roll with advantage, so I'm just gonna roll twice.
Oh
The
no no
ship
no!
is
It's
like
easy. When you go to the thing, when you
Too
pull up
late,
to
I
like
already
roll,
rolled twice.
you all good. You all good. I got you.
26. Yeah. You get to the lower deck. You see there's a couple of mages here and a few of the deckhands and whatnot that are just kind of keeping everything running. You look over the runes and essentially the ship is just about to start going, and they have set up abjurative barriers around the crystal itself. And what they seem to be doing is one person is pushing magic into the crystal to essentially resonate against it. The other
Mm-hmm.
person is condensing and containing it from spilling out. And that
Okay.
to and fro process is keeping it kind of flowing through the ship. The deckhands, on the other hand, there's literally tubes and pipes kind of going from the floor of the crystal into the walls of the hull and further into the rest of the ship. They are mostly just observing those and making sure there are no leaks in those, making sure those are properly pressurized and everything. And they're observing those while the mages are working on the to and fro. And with the 26, if you if you had Aiden here, when you do it, you can probably operate the ship. Maybe at the very least at limited capacity with just the two of you,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
you can operate it.
Yeah, I'll let like info dump to Aiden about all this and
Yeah.
then conclude like,
Ah,
yeah,
good,
I think we
good.
can handle this. I think we can handle
Okay.
this
And
if needed.
it's a just in case. Like I trust these people; they know what they're doing. But
They kind of look over the shoulders and they keep working.
Let's hope we never
uh,
have to.
uh,
uh,
but yeah, while you guys are doing that, travel's happening for a few hours, and around the 3 hour mark, Muriel, your hand starts to feel really, really hot, and you kind of instinctively look down at it, and it is glowing pink. And you
Well,
just
that's
hear,
normal.
yes, you just hear a voice kind of go, it should almost, oh, there we go. Yep, 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 yep. And you just see like the light kind of coalesces into a solid shape, and what apparates in your hand is this dagger, where it's like this beautifully carved gold and black steel dagger, where the hilt of it is like spiked and rounded, and it seems to have been made like the hilt is made around this deep purple amethyst crystal. And you see you hear the voice kind of just go, uh did you get it on your end? Just making sure.
You gave me a dagger?
Ah, perfect. Yes, yes, yes. Now, if you would be so kind, take out the gem that you will see in the hilt of the dagger,
Okay. Well,
then stab the gem ever so slightly with said dagger until it is starting or it is cracked.
what is this? A cooking show? Okay. And she's gonna like
Yeah?
gently like poke it, kind of wiggle it into the
Just
cracks.
for fun to see if fuck ups happen, give me a sleight of hand.
No, I'm scared. Okay. Uh, oh God.
You're good at this. Didn't you take sleight of hand because you're the trickster nun? Oh, here we go.
Eh, eh,
Okay.
eh,
Okay.
Yeah, no,
eh,
16's good.
eh.
You stab into it enough that it starts to crack, and as it starts to crack, you see from the lines of the crack a bright purplish glow is leaking out of the gem, and you immediately hear the voice go, "Wait, wait, now chuck it now, chuck it before it, just chuck it."
Okay. And then
You
Muriel's gonna
yeet it
kind of like,
overboard,
yeah.
and it just like with a plunk, it just starts to like disappear from you, like this like shimmering purple light in the ocean, and it just goes and goes and
I
goes.
have a question.
Yes.
With my passive perception, do I see any of this happening?
What's your passive perception?
22.
Yes, you see this happening.
Okay,
You
take
see this
like
exact like entire thing go down. This was all top deck.
okay, just make. I think they're gonna. They obviously don't know how like people behave on ships. They're like they're just gonna make like a mental note of like, oh, there's something being chucked overboard. Okay, interesting.
Oh no. Oh no.
And you just hear the voice go as it like disappears from your sight. Lovely, you have been a great help as always, my friend. You can
Do
keep
I
the
do I
dagger.
finally get an okay, a good dagger, very nice, I can sell it. But here's the thing. What did I chuck in the water though?
Oh, I simply owed someone a favor. And given the kind of things that have been happening around that ocean you're traveling, I figured it's a great time to return that favor.
So did you bring more things or did you get rid of the things? That
Depends on the things.
dang it. I should have said that I will take the next favor.
And you get this dagger. Uh, just for mechanical purposes, this is a +2 dagger. And
Oh, that is better than my daggers. Okay, I'll take it.
if you stab someone with this weapon, all like when you roll damage with this weapon, you deal an additional d6 of psychic damage.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, my dear patron.
You can add just like a note for it, which is just, yeah, if you like wanted a name for the weapon, it's dagger of friend.
Yay!
So there you go. And travel continues and continues. Uh, it is probably getting closer to like evening. Like, since your days got started, you went and did a bunch of stuff, set up to sail. You see To your left, far in the distance, a silhouette of what you know is Barnacle Bay. It's quite far though. And then, like coming up in front of you, you see a much clearer shape of a very small island, where most of it seems like a little bit of a hilly little like forest almost, and about a quarter of the island has kind of been turned into like this little settlement. And you see there are like small walls kind of coming up from the ocean floor itself and around the entire settlement around like the forest, with like cannons and stuff lined up on it. You see like in the distance flags of Emerald City and the Empire hanging off. It does very much seem like the place is intact. And as you are getting closer, mm, I just read something that broke me. Never mind. Uh, as we get closer, we well, not we. Try give me uh either a survival or a religion check.
Me?
Yeah.
Survival or religion? I'll go survival. That is a math 22
All right. With the
on survival.
22 on survival, you like it's been mostly like a gray cast kind of a day, like slight drizzle here and there. But like as it's getting like close to evening, you start seeing like the stars above, and you are kind of like just standing near top deck. First you were observing Muriel, then you're just kind of looking around at the ocean, which is anyways a alien like notion to you really. And the wind kind of starts to kick up, and as the wind kicks up you see some of the clouds kind of get like dissipated away, revealing the first sightings of the crescent moon for the night. And as the moon kind of like touches against you.
I didn't.
Yeah.
Sorry, you lost somehow. Video cut you out. I didn't hear or see you at all. So I lost. I didn't hear anything you said. I'm so sorry.
Oh, no worries. Happens. That's the tech. Uh, essentially, you've been like around like an alien ocean, uh, and you're like just looking around, and as winds are kicking up, the clouds get dissipated a little, and you see like the
Mm-hmm.
first sightings of like the crescent moon for the night. And as the like moonlight kind of like touches you, you like after like a bit of like a new things happening kind of a day, you get like one sense of like familiar calm from just
Yeah.
that like simple like thing. And as that calm kind of washes over you across like the wind, you almost on the wind itself like whistling past you can make out words almost.
Okay.
And you just hear the words go, "It isn't safe. Please be careful." And as those words kind of echo across your ears, you for a moment almost felt like a couple of fingertips very gently pressed against your shoulder. And you kind of look over instinctually, and nothing's there.
I would recognize this, wouldn't I?
It doesn't sound exactly the same, but it certainly sounds familiar.
Yeah. Okay. Think I would be like, it'll be okay. It'll be okay. And just sort of look out. Also, like, I can see clearly. I've got like 300 foot of dark vision, so like
Yeah,
I can just see like everything very clearly, especially the stars and the moon and everything.
exactly.
And we'll, I think we'll do sort of. I feel like some of the prayers Cry was taught were, like those children like songs that like are like kind of a prayer, like that. So they started to softly like hum like one of the sort of prayer songs they know, as a kind of comfort, and also as a sort of it is essentially like a prayer, but it's just there's no words, it's just humming the tune of the prayer.
For sure. And I'll say, based on what everyone else was doing, Swervington and Muriel can both give me a perception check. "13" for Swerve, 5 for Muriel. Yeah, so you're quite preoccupied with what you just did and like understanding what you just did, while
Muriel is weighing the dagger, being like, if I sell this on the market, how much will I get? But at the same time, do I want to keep it? Like,
of course. And meanwhile, so again, you're like kind of keeping a general eye out, but your peripherals are also quite occupied with your new traveling companion at the moment, and you're quite distracted in general sense. And yeah, you guys continue your travels.
I think at one point Kai would have gone to like the Muriel, or at least like try and get like sort of her attention, or just sort of wave at her,
Mhm.
and just like take out an acorn and just like show it and just chuck it in the water. So like, look, I can do that too.
Muriel is gonna kind of stare at Cry for a second. I think they get the message, and then they're gonna be like, man, it wouldn't be the first time I fucked up. Want to play cards with me?
Just goes over and like does not obviously like, what is cards?
Okay, here, let me teach you. And
Yeah, they
just
just
takes
go.
the
Yeah, they
dice
go
and
play cards.
stuff.
Yeah.
Then you spend some time playing cards because that is safe.
Uh,
Uh,
so I think after like when we get back to the deck, sparkling
Yeah.
water, and it's at that point where I see land is coming, so I pull out, like I go over to my chest, my traveling chest, and I pull out my loot, which is like beautifully polished. And it's not like a traditional loot. It looks a little bit more like a sitar in its
Mhm.
structure. So it kind of stands it up, and then he just starts playing it very, very carefully, making this very beautiful, almost like hammered dulcimer-esque kind of like a slightly higher pitched, a little bit more inspired, like I said, by like sitar music than traditional like European lute. And I'm going to use that for the flavor, and I'm going to sing a beautiful elvish folk song that is about inspiration and heroes, and really like it deeply, deeply inspires everyone. And I'm going to cast inspiring speech, I believe. Hold on. Wait,
Motivational speech.
Motivational speech through the song itself. Instead of like giving like a
Yeah.
speech, it is the song that I am singing that really inspires everyone. I'm going to upcast it to level 3.
3 is the base level.
No, the base level's 2. At the base level, oh yeah, it is 3. Then why do I have a level 2 version of it?
I don't know. You shouldn't.
Oh, no. 4th level. I'm upcasting it to 4th level.
I see.
Whoops.
Okay.
Not used to playing this high level character. I'm enjoying myself. Yeah, so I upcast it to 4th level. So for the next hour,
10
everyone has 10 temporary hit points. And I wanted to do that just in case we get attacked before we dock.
And
Um,
while you have the temp HP, and for the remainder of the hour, essentially, you have advantage on wisdom saves.
mm,
And if you are hit by an attack, then the next attack you make will have advantage. Great. It's a great spell. Like, very
Uh,
underused.
yeah,
for flavor, uh,
uh
sorry,
huh.
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Steve.
Just for flavor, when Aiden pulls out his loot, um, Swervington Splat is going to pull out his set of drums and try to follow along. He's not very good,
Mhm.
but it's music is in his blood, literally.
Yeah.
So he tries to follow along, trying not to cast any accidental necromantic spells along the way. but
Certainly a very more upbeat song than what you're used to, Sir Victor, but like you're used to playing litanies for the dead at best.
yeah,
So
hmm
it's fine. He's going to play it in a minor key so that it kind of sounds like slightly
Yeah.
melancholic-ish.
Yeah. I am, and I'm gonna lean into that. Like when I get to the parts where the heroes like die, I'm gonna like nod at him to like have a drum solo to like really just like spread the joy and
mhm.
increase the morale.
You
This
actually
is
see all the
important. This is
troops on
heavy.
board also get the morale boost.
hmm
Like it's
Yeah.
not just you guys; everyone gets it.
Yeah, no, I wanted to make sure that the crew is at their best if we're
Yeah.
sailing into danger.
You see, like spirits get a little like higher, morale like goes up, and everyone feels more resolute and like what's about to come. And you all kind of like all meeting up top talk with the motivational speech going off. You gather up, people start arming up, like all the naval troops start like grabbing crossbows. A few of the like senior officers even pull out what are muskets. uh, you see what looks like a bunch of like different elven troops with their longbows. Some people like just start manning the artillery, like just getting ready. But firstly, the city is currently like like there is a lot of uproar. Like you see there is a crowd gathering at the docks at this point, like just seeing all these ships come up. Like aside from your ship, there are two other ships accompanying you with troops.
Mhm.
uh so you all can like get closer, slow down, and dock. First thing you notice, the island doesn't have any ships here. That there's a reason they haven't been able to evacuate. Like there are no ships here. And like they had a few fishing boats and stuff, but with how turbulent the waters are right now, that's impossible to use. And you start getting off the ship. You see some of like the officials start to like go calm the people before they like start like
Mhm.
running over onto the ship essentially,
Yeah.
and just starts
Uh,
like announcing to be calm. We're gonna get everyone on board. Don't worry and all that.
I'm going to, since the range on it is 60, as they go, my character is going to just do a few like notes on his sitar before he puts it away. Boom, and I'm gonna cast Calm Emotions. Uh, and I'm gonna land it like right at the front of the crowd to
Yeah,
mystically calm all of the people so that the officials, get advantage on their check or however you want to see it to make it
for
easier
sure.
for them to calm the refugees. So I'm
No,
just
that
gonna do that.
100% gives advantage to the wisdom saves for the refugees.
Yeah. So we will do that. Whew, okay. uh,
Oh,
and
that
then
advantage.
and then I'm gonna give a bardic inspiration to the leader
Yeah.
to continue to organize this. I want to use my magic to make this as easy for them as possible. So I'll mark off one of my bardic
For
inspirations.
sure. You see, they kind of like look at you, like the elven officials, obviously recognizing who you are, and kind of like thankfully, kind of like nodding at you. You see a lot of the townsfolk here also recognize who you are and kind of calm themselves based on that. And everyone else, like you guys, like while Aiden kind of gets busy with like dealing with like the crowd,
Yes.
the rest of you notice the town itself. There are people here like lining up to like get on like the ships. That's why you have extra ships. The walls are nothing as impressive as what like you had back at Emerald City. They're very much rudimentary, basic, like 15-foot high walls. Some like go up to like 20 feet. They cover most of like the town where they can. The town doesn't have like proper like gates or anything to seal though. It's more like a perimeter wall. So wherever like there are openings going into the forest and all, you see some soldiers have just like made like makeshift wooden barricades and stuff like that there. And they have I actually have the number for this. The town itself has 10 cannons in total that they have like spread across all four like borders essentially. uh you see it has four ballista which it's like set up more centrally like closer to the docks, and a total town guard of 50 soldiers. uh so you have 50 from that, plus you guys brought about 100 along. uh the 100 you brought along though is a mix of some like volunteer fighters and stuff like that, so probably not as well trained or disciplined as the rest of the troops. The town guard are disciplined, but they are town guard, not military, like proper military. So they are also not fully equipped. They are disciplined, but not fully equipped. And you see, everyone's kind of like running around, like getting like prepared. And one of like what looks like the captain of the town guard essentially kind of comes up to you guys and like starts like sharing intel, saying, "Oh, it is a godsend that all of you are here. We have been. We haven't really gotten much rest, really. We sent messages for aid for ships to get the people out, but that hasn't slowed down the attacks on the city. We've been hit a couple of times by these strange creatures. They came from the oceans. They took some of the fishermen and their boats out as well. That's not all. Some of them could fly, and they flew right over our wall defenses. And we had more guards, but some are wounded or dead at this point. But we've been dealing with attacks for the past 2 days. You're the first ships that have made it this far. We saw a few other ships making their way here. They got attacked on the way by the same creatures and sunk. It is honestly surprising and miraculous that your ship wasn't attacked. But and as he kind of says that, Muriel, your hand burns a little again. And
Muriel is already sitting there like, oh, tell me it wasn't me. Tell me it wasn't me. Tell me it was me, wasn't it? Great, great, amazing.
are you saying that out
Oh,
loud?
my hand is burning. Great. No, no, no. I'm not saying that out loud. I'm saying that like in my hand. Like, oh Jesus, imagine saying that out loud.
But
Oh, my
yeah,
hand is burning. Great. No, she would sort of be doing like the mimicking thing where she's like,
uh-huh. While you're basically coming to terms with why you have been safe on your journey here, uh, the captain continues and says, they stop their attacks every now and then. We fight them off after some losses, then it gets quiet. And then, usually around nightfall or by the next dawn, or if it starts raining, they start coming out again. There is a telltale sign. The ocean waters around here get as dark as black sky. As that begins to happen, they start to come onto the shores. They come from every single direction. North, west, south, east, wherever. We do what we can to hold. And then they come again and again. I think we just have to get out of this island until we deal with this problem.
Well, we have. I look over at the captains of the other ships, and I'm like, "Do we have enough room in the cargo hold to get the refugees out of the city?"
One of the captains of the ships kind of just goes, he's like this older tiefling. He kind of just goes, well, it'll be a bit of a tighter fit, but it should be doable. We can dump off any extra cargo we might have been holding. It's not that long of a journey that we'll need all of it on the way back.
Right. Okay. Well, let's see what cargo we have here. Let's see what provisions we can give people here since they've been essentially shut off in the city. And let's start getting refugees to the space that we have and start coordinating. You said sundown, right? When it turns night?
Well, either that or, well, when it gets dark, really. Rains
Okay.
tend to do that too.
Right. Well, we will keep an eye out for those warning signs.
Aiden, Mr. Heir
Yes.
to the thing, sir, friend.
Yes.
So, the based on the thing that you did back at Emerald City, the whole ritual lore thing.
Yes.
Yes,
of course.
How long ago did it say that this rift was sealed up, or like this thing was sealed? Was there a mention of how?
Millennia ago.
Thousands of years.
Okay.
Dawn of time.
So you're telling me in the last thousands of years, these fucking things have not evolved beyond mindless anything? Are we supposed to believe that?
What hasn't evolved?
Are you saying that you want to attempt to talk to these creatures?
I don't know, because it feels like they're just mindlessly attacking, but if you think of how...
Insight check, Swirl.
Kai just goes, maybe they're friendly. They could be friendly. If you talk to them, they could be
friendly. 20, let's go.
Oh, unnatural.
Ariel is having a crisis. She is not paying attention anymore.
With an unnatural 20 on insight, you're not wrong. Like, it is wild that this hasn't like come up before, but you also remember, like, based on what the legend law said, you're not sure if it has. For all you know, it probably might have come up before, and people just like you right now might have resealed it over and over again.
No, that's not what the thing was. My question was, this is more like him just being, if you look at the history of our world over the last millennia, we have evolved from living with sticks and stones to building castles and having technology and all of these things. I refuse to believe that these abyssal creatures have not evolved as well.
Certainly, with that insight, you're not wrong as well on that. Like, they probably have evolved to some different degrees, but their form of society and how they have worked as like a race of like creatures almost, like because even amidst abyssal creatures, there are dozens, if not more, different kinds of abyssal creatures. All of them probably have their own ways of evolving over time and whatnot, but you also know that abyssal creatures, as far as any like books or people would have taught you, are beings of utter chaos. Like, even when they would evolve, you don't know like if they would evolve in the same like societal way as all of you would have. Like, there might be a very strong chance that they further honed in on the chaos part of their heritage. They further honed in on being better instruments of war and destruction even. So there are like, there's a whole different like skill tree to like, evolve into there.
Fair. Okay, makes sense. This was more, Splat just being...
Of course.
He was just trying to... What's the word for it? I can't think of the word, but he was just being like almost... I can't think. But it's less of curiosity and more of just like disgust that they are still these running on instinct, attacking whatever comes across them kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Because I don't know the lore of this world, but like I'm going off the fact that Splat would know his orc history and how they evolved from brutes to functioning members of society. So basically, I think that's the vibe that he's that's what he's thinking basically.
Yeah, no, that makes sense perfectly.
Yeah, but to answer your question, I don't think we should try to reason with them, especially since we're trying to get these people out. If we had more time, maybe it would be an option. but I think
Mm.
right now their priority is getting the people to safety, and then
Oh,
it's been a while since I've had a fight. So if a fight is what they want, a fight is what they'll get.
I mean,
it is. It is all good, Swervin.
I'm all for ending conflict with words, but that tends to not be when the version of hello is eating you.
Yeah.
And yeah, as you guys are kind of like discussing that, like you see, soldiers have already started like loading people up as much as they
Mm-hmm.
can,
Yeah.
but they have to do it like slowly and orderly. Like they have to make sure they're getting all the people, like noting down their
Mm-hmm.
names and stuff. Like
Yeah.
it has to be a little more like they have to make sure they account for everyone. So
Yeah.
while that process starts about 20 minutes of that like kind of goes by, like some people have started getting like loading up and whatnot. You see that like it's like a relatively large settlement, so you see there's still people like streaming in from the town. There's still probably people like wrapping their stuff up, packing and moving and
Mm-hmm.
everything. And while that is happening, I'll say with the passive perception being highest for Cry, uh, they the first to notice, kind of like looking around. The waters around the docks are beginning to turn darker. And
I just sort of
I
looked at that. I just like, suppose is does the ocean, is that supposed to do that?
we're about to be attacked. Prepare for battle. And I immediately like unleash the staff, spin it around dramatically, and slam it on the ground. And
as you do
uh,
that, you see
I
soldiers start streaming up onto the walls. People start
Yeah,
like
as you
manning
do
cannons.
that, I will cast on you, Aiden. Or there's not even a cast; it's just an action. I will sort of pat your shoulder. You get it's a vigilant blessing, so you get advantage on your next initiative roll.
thank you.
All right.
Uh,
Hold on. You you start to like set up. You like pull up your like weapons and everything, and as that's happening, you also like see there's like a clock tower or like a bell tower in like town.
mhm,
They start ringing that like over under attack, like people who are not out yet, they start like taking cover where they are, like so they're not caught like in the middle of like the docks open.
mhm.
uh and
How far from the shore where we've seen the water go dark is that bell tower?
uh it's like probably like 200 feet away.
200 feet.
Okay.
uh but you see very rapidly all of the water around the island, and as far as you can see, starts to go murky black. And before you even see shapes beginning to like kind of form within the shadows of this water, you hear a blood curdling just screech, like an inhuman just like and you just see a blast go off on the clock tower as like it crumbles and falls off and smoke begins to rise. And you see above you, wait, I can send this to game log, right? You see a swarm of these things. These malformed things just like come like swooping down from the clouds as a
I'm not
swarm of
taking
these,
responsibility for this.
as they open their maws, as like literally like these like weird pellets begin to fire off of them like into like the town in different places, like lighting it up. And wherever those crashes happen, you see it immediately puffs out into like this weird greenish smoke, and you immediately see people coughing and retching that get caught in it. And uh you also see the ballista on the ship and in the town start firing up into the air against these creatures, firing at them as some of them get hit and they start to like fall off and die. As different soldiers are yelling commands out like, "We're under attack! Get to cover!" And some people start yelling, "Aim for the wings! We can take them down from there!" And all the musket men and like bowmen like start to like shoot up. And you then start hearing like sounds of like splashes and like heavy thuds coming from the shoreline itself. And like at first you just see like these tiny fucking creatures, like probably like 2 feet tall at best, but the entire creature is just this big gaping maw that's just like yelling and screaming. And wait, I think I have a thing for these two. uh
I'm scared of looking at what this looks like.
Good. uh I do have it, I believe. Yes, there you go.
Amazing.
uh you see what seems to be first like 20, 30 of these like coming up from the shoreline on all ends of the island, and then they keep coming more and more, and they are paired up, like coming up behind them are larger creatures, these hulking brutish creatures with deep red skin, uh pincer, like crab like pincers coming out of two arms underneath and two burly arms on top. You see other like these like deep furred black and red creatures like moving their way out, like growling and roaring, as like the smaller one just start going like as fear and panic just takes to the street, just hearing the sounds of these creatures, like townsfolk just yelling, oh, they're back, no, no, run. And as that's happening, you hear like one of like these larger ones like kind of like just stands up straight, looks up forward. And does anyone here speak abyssal?
I have to check. Dang it, I speak Infernal and Primordial, but I don't speak Abyssal.
Close. You were
No.
close. uh so yeah, you guys don't know what, but like this person like stands there, he has like this big jaw, like his face is more flesh like, but his jaw has like this long carapace coming out, which is like pointed like a sword almost. And he just like raises a hand out towards the sky and like towards all the
Yeah.
soldiers. Yeah.
I got something. Okay. Quick question, GM. How many charges do I have on my staff starting? Just roll a d10 really quick.
Oh, you have to do that, hold on.
I just
6.
want to know what I'm 6. Excellent. I spend one of my charges on my staff. He's already got the staff out, and then as the creature starts talking to us, the sapphire on the end of the staff starts to glow, and I cast comprehend languages. What is it saying?
All right. I will allow that, yes. You cast comprehend languages, and like first it was just like,
Okay, good.
garbled like nonsense for one moment, and like then it like turns into words for you. And it's just going like the city is rank with fear. Take its walls, take its people. We will need them to fuel the fires. We have much to do. The master is waiting. And yeah.
As I do that, you see my eyes narrow. There is something I would like to do, but would anybody else like to do anything else before Aiden casts?
I feel like I could, but I feel like that would be on like more initiative, like combat things. I don't know if we're allowed.
Because I'm
to.
wanting to do. I'm trying to. I'm like I said. I'm using social spells before we roll initiative to try and see how much I can get. But I don't want to take up everyone's space. If anybody else has anything else,
I would have liked the moment these creatures started coming out of the water to have backed off and found somewhere to hide.
Roll me stealth.
That's what I was. That's what I was. I was like, hold on. What else has everybody else got?
Wait, let me look at this roll, and I'm gonna ask something of everyone. We'll see.
Sweet.
So, because of my cloak of elven kind of get advantage, thank goodness. Because one of them was a nat 1, but the other is an 11 for 26.
Yes.
Oh. Yeah. You almost immediately. I'm assuming you were trying to hide without getting onto the ships again.
15 for 26, I mean. Yes, yeah. So if there's some kind of like crates lying around, or
you kind of like
on the beach,
run further down the docks, essentially, like where like the commotion is, and you run past the commotion into what is essentially one of the carve houses at the edge of the docks, which is like shipbuilding materials, like a little checkpoint for sailors. It is fucking empty right now. You just like dive behind some like broken down ship and just hide there.
Perfect.
And everyone else, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw
Ooh.
as one of the
Okay.
aerial pellets comes towards you.
Actions.
Saving throw.
Save and throw.
That's a 10.
Oh no.
Ooh. Ooh, it's an 11.
Oh no.
I'm clearly okay. I've got 21.
Oh, wait a minute. We
I
have
got-
advantage on saving throws because of
Uh,
motivational speech, or is that
Wisdom
wisdom?
saves.
Oh
No, never
yeah,
mind.
we've got.
Okay, it's wisdom.
No advantage on
Oh,
dex save.
wait, but I have a wait. I have a thingy. Let me quickly find the turn between all my features. Let me find it.
Uh-huh.
I also have a thingy that might be able to help someone else.
Ah,
Where the
Figure
fuck
it
is
out.
it?
Until then, what did Muriel and Swerve get?
I got 13.
30 for Swerve.
I got
21 for
21.
Muriel. All right.
Okay, wait. Swerve has 13.
What feature are you trying to use, Sparkling?
I'm trying to use Flash of Genius to add +3 to Swerve's roll.
You can if you want to.
I'm just trying to figure out how. I
It's
think,
a reaction. Basically, you like yell out how to dodge and shit like that.
I mean, I feel like it makes more sense, like, for an artificer, like, that instead of like yelling out, maybe I just like take like something, some like sparks out of my pocket
Mhm.
that I end up just throwing at Swerve's feet that lets him kind of just slightly more.
I'll
Does that make
say you kind of like you're like at the dock side. You see like there's like loose rope around. You like grab it with your infernal flame. You like tear it off the dock, and you basically use it to like lasso him towards you so he
I
doesn't
love
get hit
that.
by it.
I'm
Uh,
hoping a 16 lets him
yeah.
be saved.
So that's 16 for her. Swerve then. Anything Cry doing?
No, the thing I remembered, I misremembered. So it's not. It's
No
not that.
worries.
I mean, there's one thing that I could try, but I don't know if it will help. I can do something called Steps of Night, where I can, if I'm in dim light or darkness, I can give myself a flying speed, so I can just fly. I don't know if
Uh,
like flying away
and
would have
it's
helped
a
at all.
normal reaction, I believe.
No, exactly. No.
So Aiden and Cry, I believe, are the only two people who fail.
Yep.
So the rest of you kind of like dodge out of the way. You see the docks you're standing on explode.
Oh!
Okay.
And you guys kind of get blasted back like towards still like land bound, but like you get hit by like debris and whatnot.
Ugh.
And Muriel, Sparkling, and with Sparkling's help, Swerve, all of you gotta get out of the main explosion. And the three of you take 9 bludgeoning damage.
Okay, well, I had 10 hit points.
And
Wait, who takes 9 bludgeoning damage? The ones who
Sparkling,
saved.
yeah,
Okay.
Sparkling,
Yeah.
Muriel, and Swerve take 9
Ooh.
bludgeoning.
Oop.
The two of you, give me a con save, Cry and Aiden.
Oh, okay, wait, hang on.
Okay, you said a con save? Got it.
Yeah.
Not my bird boy.
Immediately after you guys made that declaration.
Oh, what? Hold on a second.
14.
Just a second. Hold on.
14.
3. No, I realized I did my save. I didn't roll a save. I rolled a check. So I only have
Oh.
+3. My dexterity save is +7. So instead of, if you look at my sheet,
So plus
You'd
4,
have
so
been
you would
a
have rolled a
15.
15 then. A 15 still fails.
a 15 still fails. No worries. I just wanted to
The
double
DC
check.
was 16. That's why
That's
Swerve giving the +3
okay.
worked for.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
So Swerve is,
Yeah.
Splat is like so grateful to Sparkling Water right now.
You just like you go face first for a second, but you also look up and see there is a missing dog that you were not part of. And what's Cry's con save and Aiden's con save?
14.
Okay, Aiden's con
Okay.
save is
14. for
18.
Cry.
I feel like I'm missing something on my sheet, but like as in I'm forgetting something, but like I cannot. You said can we only take reaction spells?
At the moment, yeah, like this is like someone's attacking you. So yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
Oh, okay.
Oh wait, no, wait, hang on.
hmm.
No, never mind. Also, that doesn't work. It's not everything. I'm like thinking like,
Uh,
oh, that's the thing. It's not. No,
okay.
it's not the thing.
So
So it's fine.
firstly, Cry and Aiden, both of you get hit by bludgeoning damage of 18
Got it.
Okay.
as the blast hits you. And you kind of like, fall over onto like some of the rafters and you start to like get up and you again see like that, puff of smoke kind of spreading. You cough a little, hold on to your breath, like your eyes tear up a little, and you just like kind of crawl your way through it. And Cry, you fully don't know what the fuck just happened. Blast happens. You
Yeah.
instinctually just like open your mouth full up and like just try to like breathe because you feel like you're about to fall into water. And you take a
Mhm.
big lungful of this like gas
Oh
Oh no.
no.
as
Oh.
you take an additional 15 poison damage
Oh, okay. I'm gonna
Dear
and
first thing
you
about
are
Lord.
it. My bit is
poisoned.
me. Oh great.
Ooh.
Oh god. Okay, the first
And
thing I'm gonna do, I'm just heal myself, I guess.
yeah, you guys
How,
kind of like, crawl your way to the shore as that happens. You see, one of the ships also took a bit of a hit. Some people like fell to that. Some of the refugees got hit by that.
Oh.
And
out
but the
of
ship
interest,
is
DM,
still up.
did did anybody within 30 feet of me go down because of this, die because of this attack?
Yes.
So as a reaction, I would like to open my palm, and
Mhm.
a little bone figurine of them appears in my palm, and I create a soul trinket.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
You grab one of the dead souls. You just yoink it in all this chaos. You actually sense well, you and Splat, both of you, being who you are, immediately see the entire place just filled with just the energy of death and necrotic energy, either coming from people immediately casting different heal spells and stuff, or
Dear
just from
Lord.
all the death. And as that happens, you see Ventus is also like with you guys. He took a little bit of a hit. He's getting you people up. You're with like some of the other troops, and everyone's yelling, "We gotta get inside the walls! We gotta get inside the walls!" And like you start like running your way in essentially with them.
Yeah.
And
Whew. The
yeah,
thing I wanted to do before we got blown up. Now he does it angrily as he gets up and everyone's running and he's injured. That creature that I understood. There's a moment where like I get up, swing the staff, hold it really high while it's glowing, and I scream, I'm Scion Aiden Ap Neradine, and your darkness of the abyss has no place here. Grovel, demon! Boom! And I cast command on the leader.
on the leader.
Ooh.
Yeah, the
What's the
one that
range on
spoke.
command? Is he in
The
range? I'm
range
just
on
checking.
command is 60 feet.
I'll say yeah, he would be like you coming in from the wall. He'd be at the right at the edge of that range. So yeah,
Yeah.
wisdom save.
Excellent.
Uh,
And their diff as I pull up my
Unnatural 20.
spell. Oh, natural 20.
Unnatural.
Unnatural. Oh. Well.
Can they do anything to fuck with that, or is that it?
Hold on. Let me look and see if I have. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Actually, I do have something that will mess with that.
I figured as much. You are a
Just
bard.
a
That's why I
second.
asked.
Where are my features? Hold on. I'm pulling up my little digital sheet. Here we go. Features and traits. Traits, cantrip, feat, counter charm, bardic versatility, silver tongue, unsettling words. Excellent. I'm going to use as a bonus action. I can spend Bardic Inspiration and choose one creature I can see within 60 feet. Roll a Bardic Inspiration die, and they have to subtract the number from the next saving throw.
From the next one.
No,
So not, yeah.
that's for the next one. I'm gonna say that and have it. You know what? I'm just gonna accept that this creature is powerful It rolled a 20, and it's not enough. But I'm gonna do it anyway.
Yeah, for sure. You say that, and you actually see like his like legs like quake for a second as he like straightens himself, looks across like the wall, like at you like running in through the gates, and again like your comprehend language is still going off, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Uh, in Abyssal again, he's just like, bring me that one alive.
Uh-oh.
I want his head. And
And then I
yeah,
head in
you
with my party.
you start to run in with your party. You see people are like lining up on the walls. So the soldiers are like just looking around, like, what do we do? How do we get out of here? We're surrounded. Like they're coming out from the docks. Our ships are on. Like your ships are still holding. Like they're still afloat. All three of them. They're just pelleting cannon fire on the shoreline and on the ocean itself. The people on the top deck are fighting off whatever's climbing onto the ship to keep it safe. And while they're holding, you guys, a bunch of the townsfolk, and most of your standing army is trapped within the four walls. So you have to figure out how to A, carve a path back out to your ship, and B, get all of the people onto those ships. Uh, and as all of this encircles and surrounds you, you also see like right above you, the clouds again are getting darker. The moonlight slowly like goes out of sight as the clouds gather, and you see right above the town, slowly the clouds are swirling and gathering. And anyone who is a spellcaster can tell this is very much an like someone is doing this using arcane means. And as that happens, lightning crackles across the sky and mm, strikes straight onto one of the ships. Does not sink it, but you immediately see it kind of like, goes haywire for a moment. Most people on the top deck get zapped. Like they don't die, most of them, but they look very wounded. And suddenly, like, no one is manning anything on the cannons. All the people getting onto the top deck, all the monsters suddenly have no resistance. And
How
yes,
far away is that first ship
it
from the
is
wall?
quite far now. It's over 200 feet now
It's
I have.
over 200 feet. Oh,
because you ran
Is
into the
it
city.
is it dark or getting dark now?
Yes.
Okay, I would look at everyone and be like, "Can everyone see in the dark?"
I can.
It's a very good question.
I believe all of you can.
Yeah.
I imagine I can.
Except for Muriel, because Dragonborn. Well, it
Oh
depends on
yeah,
what setting.
You can
Muriel
just
can't see in the dark. Muriel can see other shit though.
no problem.
Yeah.
No.
I'm
If
blind.
so Kai
Ah.
will just sort of like put like a hand over his eyes and like sort of like wave and then towards you, and you now have for an hour 300 feet of dark vision. Suddenly you can
You
see.
have never seen this clearly at night before.
300 feet?
Yeah,
Yes, I
I
can
like
also see
300.
300 feet.
Muriel
And
is
the thing is,
kind
I could have shared this with 3 people if I wanted to.
You can say the
Muriel
other
is
people are
gonna
like
kind
the
of.
sergeants and captains and stuff.
Yeah, I will do like
Oh,
yeah. If
true.
there's like sergeant and captains that cannot see, I will have 2 other people who can also now
Yeah,
see
for
300
sure,
feet away.
for
Yeah.
sure.
What about the
Yeah, no,
aftermath
Muriel
of
is staying
Ventus?
there.
He's
What
good.
the
He can see
fuck?
in the dark.
He's good? Okay.
You actually see like as like lightning strikes onto that ship and like people go haywire, more people start panicking. Ventus kind of like pulls out like his like long sword, like it's like shimmering with like this radiant light, and you see with him, like with his halo, fiery hair, glowing eyes, and this sword, he is straight up a beacon of light in like this fucking dark storm. And he just yells out to everyone who can see him or hear him, just like, find your courage, people. We will yet make it out of this, and I will make sure we do. And he uses his bonus action to use his like radiant soul, essentially.
Hmm.
As you see his like spectral wings come out, he starts glowing like an even brighter mote of light, and he flies up to like kind of like look around past the wall. And yeah, with that roll, you see his weapon in his hand, like it's made entirely of light, and it slowly shimmers and shifts in shape. And you see it slowly starts to turn into some kind of a gun,
Mm.
and it keeps shifting. And now you as players know what this is. You as characters don't know what the fuck this looks like, but he pulls up what is essentially a Gatling gun of made out of radiant light.
Mm.
This
And
man is a Digimon.
sure.
Yes.
And he just starts barreling and pelting the bullets straight in like a line spray going across the coast. And seeing that, you see a like bunch of like the people kind of get like, driven out of the soup, and they all start firing cannons and whatnot and start clearing like the way. And Ventus kind of like looks down and yells at you guys, start carving a path here.
Uh,
Help me or get to the other walls. Get the other people out.
I am going to take this minute to just start talking to people, like, stay strong, keep your back going. Everyone, like, as we're, straightening somebody's aim, and I'm
Yep, yep.
going to cast motivational speech again, but for the group of people on the wall. Because
For
I
sure.
got everyone on the ship, but the forces that we have here, I want to give them the temporary hit points.
Yeah.
And it will last an hour, and it will take, and I'm
For sure.
assuming because we're in longer rounds, a minute is okay.
Yeah, you spend a minute doing that while like defenses are happening up there, while everyone else like try sharing vision. People are
Okay.
like setting up. I'm assuming at that point like Run's also getting out of hiding and rejoining the party.
Yeah, I am upcasting again to 4th level so that all of the people on the
10,
wall that
10.
are defending get 10 temporary hit points.
All right.
And everything else that motivational speech gives you, which is
The wisdom
once
saves and attack roll thing. Yeah.
yeah, yep. And I'm giving all that to our troops on the wall. As I'm making my way
Yeah.
to the gate to like fall in behind our behind our very handsome Wentus.
You start doing that. You start following in. Everyone else starts to like gather up, and as like this battle essentially ensues, which determines A, do you save everyone, and B, like, do you get out of this alive now that you're here? And one of the first major battles to take place during the events of the Onrush is underway. And that is where we will leave our session. Next time we will have the battle and see how it goes.
Yay! Don't die.
I'm wounded before we even start. The first thing I'm gonna have
Do
to do is
not
heal myself.
die.
Every session will very much be new things happening.
Don't die. Just don't die, guys. Just
please
don't die.
I made a promise to that young prince.
I'm gonna die.
I cannot
I'm
die.
gonna die.
No.
I'm
Not
gonna
the prince,
die,
but
man.
young lord. Yeah.
Not my trickster nun.
I'm gonna try and keep everyone alive. I have some things up my sleeve that I can help.
It's fine. There's a lot of for Muriel. There's a lot of people keeping her alive.
I'm also going to be able to keep people alive once I start killing people.
I am ready for
So.
sparkling water to start unleashing robot hellfire nonsense. It's gonna be great.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun because I have a very like wide range of spells. So
three spell slots?
I did not realize.
I go from Sacred Flame to having like where was it? Because I also had like necromancy type of stuff. So like
It's like a toy box.
I'm probably
just
going
a
to end
nun.
up having more than just the one. Like I'll have just the one construct, but I'm going to have other things around.
Oh,
And I cannot wait.
actually, I think. Hold on, I'm just checking something. Muriel, I don't think you've picked your spells.
Have they not saved? God damn it, I'm gonna cry.
I only see like the spells you get
No!
from your class.
Okay. It means that I need to go and repick my spells because my internet decided to do a fucky wucky, and now I lost my
You have to pick
spells.
5 cantrips and
You-
11 more spells.
Hey, better now than during
Yeah,
the
then
combat.
during the
Yeah.
fight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Fair.
if I had
Okay.
made you all roll initiative right now, you'd be fucked.
Yeah.
Actually, since you haven't, can I retroactively cast a spell during that 1 minute when Aiden was doing stuff?
We shall see next time.
Okay.
Yes, we got you.
I hope I remember next time.
I hope you remember. I'll make a note.
There you
Yeah,
go.
write a note.
Yeah, and Hector also making that you have advantage on initiative next time.
Yes.
me.
Oh yeah, I typed that one down. Let's see here. Sparkling. I'm gonna put sparkling water casts a spell before initiative is rolled.
I'm looking forward to rolling the ridiculous amount of dice I can roll.
I am
not
excited.
just sneak attack. Like I've got features which add more d6. My crossbow adds a d6 of acid damage. Like it's just
We're ready to fight.
all the d6.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where's the support?
It's gonna be
do
so good.
have
The-
a like free Patreon map I found that kind of fits this situation, but I'll have to like double check if it works. I'll figure out a map situation. Otherwise, we'll theater of the mind next time.
All good.
I will say this: I already have made the map for session 4.
Yay! Is there
No, this is
anything?
not a yay situation.
That was an
any-
easier one to make, but yes. But yeah, I hope everyone had fun playing, and I hope everyone had fun watching.
Huge fun.
Definitely.
All the fun.
This was the start of the
Muriel
Onrush.
was just being Muriel. I loved it.
We love her.
Okay,
So
we're gonna
they
Muriel
go
is
to,
just being Muriel.
we can go to
It's all fun
stream
and games
endings.
until Muriel becomes. Oops,
All
my
right.
bad.
What was Steve saying?
I was just gonna say thank you all for watching and for playing. We're gonna switch over to the stream ending scene, but if you'd like to stay in the Video Ninja thing to decompress or anything, it's good. The room's gonna be open, so that's always an a resource that's available. But yeah,
Thank you.
thank you for watching, everyone. This was fun. Session 1 is in the books, which is great. I'm so excited to see what happens next and to be part of what happens next. But yeah, till then, see you all tomorrow, really. But next week for the Onrush.
Next week for
Yes.
the Onrush.
Take care, guys.
Bye.